And good Saturday morning. Welcome to Falcon Media Sports Network's football pregame show as the Falcons get ready to take on Central Michigan today. I am Nate Hinners here in the Killeen Center, joined today by
Adam Duffin,
Gavin Gill.
And we are very happy to be here for a broadcast that was this close to getting canceled pretty much this morning. The Killeen Center had a little bit of flooding. Falcon Radio is currently tarped off. So that's why we're here on WBGU. Luckily, BGU Studios all good. A big thank you, though, to Quentin Parker, professor here at BGSU, for finding. When he came in this morning, he found the thing. Him, Dr. Bracken, our director of the School Media Communications, all the campus ops people who came in and helped clean up. They did a great job, by the way. If you come into the Killeen Center today, it's hard to. I mean, you can tell, but they did a great job cleaning up a lot of the flooding. Our radio advisor, Phil Beskid. I mean, so many people today came in and just helped get us on, or helped get the stuff cleaned up and help be able to get us on the air. So very appreciative to them. But now we got some football to cover.
Yeah, Bowling Green takes on Central Michigan today. Both teams coming in 3-3 right now. BG currently is favored in the all-time record, 25-19. These teams played 101 years ago today in a 21-0 victory for Central Michigan. A lot of history here. Played a lot of games over the years. Then they've been in MAC play for a while now. Last year, 23-13 win for BG. Things have changed a lot since then. We have a different quarterback. We have different top receivers. We have a different running back.
Different head coach.
Yeah, different head coach with Eddie George. And BG definitely in a different spot than last year. It was a really big win last week. Largest comeback win in program history.
Yeah, I mean, just coming back for that second half, I mean, electrifying game.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that coming up right after this. You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU Women's Golf heads out west to battle the Kansas State Wildcats in the PowerCat Invitational on a Monday and Tuesday series from October 20th to October 21st. This will be the final invitational for the Falcons this season. Check out the recap by Falcon Media Sports Network, Golf Beat, Aiden Brewick, and all other BGSU athletic content on bgfalconmedia.com.
And welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network football pregame coverage here on WBGU 88.1 FM. So talking about the Falcons coming into this game today, what are you guys looking for the Falcons?
Well, once again, Drew Pine has been ruled out with that injury. So Lucian Anderson getting his chance, his second career start. Last week, didn't do too much, only 92 yards through the air, but had a couple big runs to get Bowling Green in good positions late in the game. Expect another game where they're going to try to do their best to put Lucian Anderson in positions to succeed, not have him do too many risky options.
I also think that we need to incorporate more of we were running the ball pretty well last week with Lucian. I think we need to incorporate that a little bit more. I do like some of the trick plays, but I think we need to stretch the field a little bit more. We need to attack especially the middle of the field, in my opinion. Last week with the Cameron Petaway, touchdown in the middle of the field. I mean, you want to stretch the field a little bit more. It's not that we can't do more trick plays. I just think we need to attack a little bit more and use more of our wide receivers. I mean, our wide receivers, both Garcia and Finn Hogan, I don't think have a touchdown this season yet.
Yeah, they do not. So
Petaway, Harris, tight end, running back. I mean, you want to use them more in the passing game, obviously, but I want to see us using our wide receivers a little bit more than what we've been doing.
Especially Kadarius Roberts. He's our third running back, you would say, and he's one of the top players in receiving yards for us. So right now it's not working out too well.
Yeah, so moving on over to Central Michigan now, what are you guys expecting to see from the Chippewas?
Chippewas, they're coming off, they had a bye week, but before that they lost to Akron, which was not good for them at all, very poor for them in MAC play. They're an interesting team. They don't really have any standout runners. They don't have any standout receivers.
Well, I mean, their backup quarterback, Angel Flores, leads the team in rushing. So
it's an awkward offense for them right now, especially Their leading receiver, 188 yards, a couple other guys with over 100 yards. Running backs, they're all sort of about the same.
Yeah, they all pretty much have the same statistics. I mean, just like BG. I mean, their backup running back, he leads Central Michigan with 2 touchdowns. Like, there's not a lot, in my opinion, of like. There's just not a lot going on.
Yeah, Nyree Biggins is the other running back that's behind Angel Flores. And, yeah, both of them averaging 5 yards a carry. He's not too far behind in carries on the year. Biggins does bring more of a receiving aspect to the team as a running back. He's actually second in receiving yards as the running back, very similar to how Bowling Green has Kadarius Roberts in that role of a hybrid type. So Central Michigan, definitely strange offense. They've figured it out at times to end up running the football with multiple different guys to score, but besides that, they're not too effective through the air.
Yeah, definitely. And coming up here on WBGU 88.1 FM, we're going to hand things on out to the Deutsch. Check in with Tyler and Sean to see how things are going on out there as our pregame show continues here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Hey, what's the show?
It's the Blues Breakfast. It's probably good for you.
Did you try it?
I'm not gonna try it, you try it.
I'm not gonna try it.
Let's get Mikey.
Yeah.
He won't listen, he hates everything.
Right down, right off of your feet.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Be like Mikey. Catch the Blues Breakfast every Saturday morning from 10 to 2 on 88.1, Ohio's premier blues radio show.
I love to see you strut up and down this floor.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network's pregame coverage as the Falcons get ready to take on Central Michigan here on this Saturday. Real quick, also got to thank the Blues Breakfast. They were supposed to be in here, or they were in here this morning. Kenny was in here, but he nicely gave up some of his studio time, gave up some of his show so we could have our broadcast today because the Falcon Radio studio is currently, again, covered in tarps. All right, with that, let's hand things on out to the Deutsch, to Tyler and Carter. Yeah, sorry, Carter. That was my brain, it's been a little bit of a crazy day, so I said Tyler and Sean, Tyler and Carter today. Hey, guys, how's it going?
And it going well here at the Deutsch. Expected to be another large crowd in Northwest Ohio today for Bowling Green against Central Michigan. The Falcons are expected to pass last season's total attendance in just their first 4 home games this year. The excitement around this program is palpable, and like you guys were talking about, this is expected to be an old school smash mouth football game. Both teams want to establish the run. It's what they've done all year long. They're not afraid to do it, to set up every other part of their offense. So expect a lot of ground game between these two teams today. And of course, the big story going into the game for the second straight week, Lucian Anderson III gets the start once again for Bowling Green. Drew Pine out for the second straight week, still wearing a boot on that left foot.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Tyler. Lucian Anderson once again getting the start, but we saw how composed, how patient he was against last week in the Battle of I-75. And Eddie George said it best in the press conference. He handled it like a champ. Can't wait to see how Lucian Anderson continues his run today.
All right, so we are just about 15 minutes away from kickoff here at the Deutsch. The Falcon Marching Band out across the field getting these festivities going. We will send it back to you guys in the studio to continue the pregame show.
All right, thanks, guys. And again, we'll send things on out to the stadium coming up here about noon today for kickoff. Right now, those take another quick break, and we'll have a roundtable coming up right after this. You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network pregame coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Unlike other local sources, Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media will never charge a paywall to view our content. However, if you are looking to support student media, you can donate at the bottom of our stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
And welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network's football pregame coverage. The Falcons getting ready to take on the Central Michigan Chippewas here on this Parents' Weekend here at BGSU. Adam, your parents we saw beforehand. But besides that, what are you guys looking forward to going into this game today for both teams?
Well, Falcons for the Falcons, there's a lot of things they can do to continue off of last week. They didn't have too many penalties, which was good for them. Part of the reason Toledo lost is because they had 14 penalties last week, some pass interference, holding to take away big plays. So Bowling Green needs to continue playing smart football. You can't have penalties that take away a big play when you got a young quarterback in there.
I also think that the BG the BG defense needs to hone in on that run game. I mean, BG held Chip Trainum, the second rusher in total of yards in the MAC, to 125 on 27 carries last week. We were able to hold them pretty good in the second half. If we were able to, like Tyler said, it's going to be a smash mouth game. Like, if we're able to hold Angel Flores and Central Michigan running back core as a whole, because they use a group of people, I think it'd be a good thing for our defense.
Especially too, Lucian, he did have an interception last week. Joe Labus, the quarterback for Central Michigan, he's only had one interception so far this year. So these teams like to hopefully not try to turn the ball over. So it's just, hey, are you able to get that 3rd and 1 and keep a drive going for your team?
Yeah, I mean, if we're able to, like you said, I mean, like Joe Labras is going to come in. Obviously, he's the starting quarterback, and he doesn't turn the ball over with one interception on the year. But we just got to be able to hold. As soon as Angel comes in, this is from me watching, as soon as Angel comes in, you expect the pass. I mean, Angel's only thrown for 16 times this season, so you just got to expect, as soon as Angel comes in, it's going to be a run play.
More of that gimmicky offense where you don't exactly have a guy dropping back 40 times a game thrown downfield. They're just spreading the ball out, trying to get the ball out quick, and just they're sort of making it so that they're playing to not turn it over. They're playing almost not to be explosive for 40 points. Central Michigan, they want to win a game by scoring 21 and the other team only scores, 14 points. They're not trying to have a shootout game.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the receivers, the longest receiver to score a touchdown this season has been Biggins with 88, and that's a running back. Yeah. The rest of the wide receivers, they have not gone over 47 yards, which, I mean, 47 is a pretty big number in terms of, for
a big play, yeah.
Yeah, but, you're not seeing a lot you're not seeing a lot of explosive plays out of Central Michigan in the passing game.
Especially, too, last week with the 73-yard touchdown from R.J. Garcia to Cameron Petaway. That was Bowling Green's longest play of the year, besides the kickoff return that started the season on opening night. But on an actual offensive play, that was the longest of the season. Before that, there was a 40-yard play in there. So, yeah, Bowling Green, not too explosive. Same with Central Michigan.
Yeah, and sorry to cut you off there. Let's get a look now at what's going on around the MAC today. So besides the Falcons and Central Michigan kicking off at noon, Miami and Eastern Michigan also kicking off at noon today. Coming up at 2 o'clock, Kent State takes on Toledo up in Toledo. At 2:30, Buffalo takes on UMass. 3:30, we've got Akron going on at Ball State. And also at 3:30, Northern Illinois takes on OU. So some exciting MACtion going on around the MAC today. Also checking on a few things from the Falcons last night. Besides the Falcon football team, Falcon athletics in general had a busy night last night. Here on campus, we had the Falcon Invitational. The girls, the cross-country team, got first place, champions of that, while the boys got sixth. I was able to watch the girls race last night. My friend runs for Akron, my friend from high school, so I got to watch her run, and the Falcons looked pretty pretty strong during that. Going on to volleyball, they did not have a great night last night. They had a 3-0 loss to Ball State. And hockey, though, they had a better night. 6-3 win in an exhibition game over Windsor. So, yeah, good night for the hockey team, though. And that was a look at what's happening around the MAC and happening in Falcon Athletics. Coming up, we got more of our Falcon Media Sports Network pregame show. Right now, though, let's check in to see who our Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week was this week.
Cameron Petaway is this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week. The redshirt freshman had 2 receptions for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns against Toledo in the Battle of I-75. Petaway leads the country with 35.1 yards per kick return. He is number 1 all-time at BGSU since 1995 with 721 all-purpose yards through the first games of his career. Against Toledo, he recorded a 73-yard receiving touchdown to tie the game up 21-21. Head coach Eddie George said Cam has come on big time for us. You could see his explosiveness and what he brings to the table. This has been this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network's pregame show. Just about 10 minutes away now from kickoff. Kickoff at about 12:02, 12:03, I think. Right now, though, it is 11:54. And as we get ready for the Falcons and the Chippewas to kick off, what are your guys' Falcon 4 keys to the game?
Well, I want to start off with Lucian Anderson. He needs to once again protect the football. Last week, he had an interception on a deep pass to Kadaris Roberts. It really should have been caught. It unfortunately was bobbled, and then the defender made a great play on it. So Lucian Anderson just keeping the football with Bowling Green.
And with that, like, if you are going to be on the run, like you said, protecting the football, if we're going to be using him more in the run game, keep 2 hands on that ball.
And then what plays into that as well is offensive coordinator Travis Partridge with his play calling. Start of the game, he was doing run, screenplay, and it led to 3 3-and-outs to start that game. Didn't work out very well. Second half, throwing the ball downfield, that 73-yard touchdown from wide receiver Ryan Garcia, throwing it to running back Cameron Petaway. So they need to do more of that. Another big part is the defense stopping the run. Like you mentioned, Gavin, earlier, they stopped Toledo's running back Chip Trainum pretty well in the second half last week. They got to do that against Central Michigan's array of running backs as well. And lastly, Bowling Green's run game needs to be a lot better than last week. They had under 3 yards per carry. Lucian Anderson led the team in rushing yards if you exclude his 23-yard loss on the safety to run the clock out. So the running backs and the O-line, especially the O-line, is more at fault for this. They need to open up gaps for these runners to help out Lucian Anderson.
Yeah, so those are your Falcon 4 keys to the game. Your final thoughts as we get you ready for kickoff.
I think with Lucian Anderson's second week into the system, he's going to be more comfortable. Second week start, he's going to be able to open up that offense a little bit more.
Yeah, I really think all it comes down to is Lucian Anderson playing smart. If he does not turn the ball over, Bowling Green should win this game.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how it goes. We'll be back with you guys coming up at halftime. Before I hand things on out, though, I will just say, I always talk about how I talk about the weather, but the weather really did clear up today. I was getting worried looking into this week because there was chances for rain. The rain, though, looks like it's holding off to this evening, so Mother Nature at least wants some football earlier on today. So let's take one more quick break right now before we hand things on out to Tyler and Carter out at the Doit. You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage here on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green.
Head coach Tanner Barton and undefeated Bowling Green women's swim and dive races against Miami of Ohio in BG's Cooper Pool on Saturday, October 18th at 1 p.m. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the event by Falcon Media Sports Network's Austin Roos and for additional information on BGSU's athletics.
All right, just a few more minutes away before the Falcons and the Chippewas get in action here on this Saturday. And we were just saying, nice Saturday here in Bowling Green for some football. About high of about 80-something today.
Yeah, around 3 o'clock it'll be around 80, but it's going to be very windy. Is that going to affect the kicking game today?
I would assume so. Jackson Cleather has been really good this year. To be fair, the other games wasn't really that windy at home. On the road, his only miss of the year was a kick from over 50 yards in that road game against Cincinnati. But to be fair, 56-yarder in the wind for any kicker is difficult. So I don't think they'll ask Jackson Cleather to hopefully kick as many field goals. He didn't have to kick any last week. It was 4 touchdowns for Bowling Green. So hopefully he doesn't have to be in that situation.
Yeah, and also this weekend here on campus, kind of nice for the weather at least. It's Parents' Weekend at BGSU. Adam, we were just saying your parents came in here before the broadcast, and with that too, I believe the Doit not sold out, but it filled up pretty decently today. Yeah,
a lot of family coming in for the weekend. They mentioned it. I think they already have the higher attendance than last year, this year at the Doit, so. Just a lot
attendance is up 60% this year.
Yeah, like that, 60%. It's a lot of people going to the games. So
yeah, these families want to see Eddie George and the Falcons.
After that explosive win last week, keep on coming.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I know. Just going around this morning, you saw a lot of families coming in. So yeah, it should be a big crowd over at the game. Your guys' though, before we hand things on out, anything else you would like to say?
Bowling Green, they need to just play smart football. Don't get yourself into a bunch of second and longs or third and longs with a young quarterback.
All right, well, Adam, besides your parents being out the game, you know who else is out there?
I think it's Tyler Kavlitz and Carter Leonard.
You are correct. All right, Tyler and Carter, how's it going now?
It's going good, Nate. Last week, BGSU football mounted the largest comeback in program history, shocking the Mid-American Conference to win the Battle of I-75. After the victory, head coach Eddie George said he wanted to keep the party going here in Bowling Green, and the Falcons have the opportunity to do just that today in front of another packed Doit L. Perry Stadium as they seek to defeat Central Michigan at home for the first time since 2003. Welcome on into the broadcast. Excited to be with you all today. Tyler Kavlitz here from the Falcon Media Sports Network alongside Carter Leonard. Carter, going to be an exciting one here today. Smash Mouth football game upcoming between Bowling Green and Central Michigan.
Absolutely. You mentioned it, Tyler. A lot of hard-nosed football going to be played here today, and that's one thing that the Central Michigan team that Bowling Green is facing today is really known for doing. They are also known for discipline as well. Head coach Matt Drinkel spent first-year head coach here at Central Michigan, but before coming to CMU, he was at Army West Point, and just last year he was winner of the 2024 Joe Moore Award, which is given to the best offensive line in college football. So if there's one thing that the Central Michigan team is known for doing, it's being disciplined and not letting anything get past them. So it's going to be a good challenge for Bowling Green today.
Yeah, he spent 2019 to 2024 at Army West Point, served in a bunch of different roles there: offensive quality control, tight end coach, co-offensive coordinator, and like you mentioned most recently, offensive line coach before getting the starting job here at Central Michigan. He's 45-20 overall as a head coach, 37-15 in conference play. Eddie George also in his first season as head coach for the Falcons. He was at Tennessee State as the head coach from 21 to 24. So two first-year head coaches going against each other. Bowling Green will return. It will be Cameron Petaway back deep. It'll be kicked away by Cade Graham, the redshirt senior for Central Michigan. Bowling Green wearing white pants, brown jerseys, and their orange helmets with the throwback LT Falcon logo on those sides of the helmets. Central Michigan going with their maroon pants striped with yellow and white jerseys, and a matte maroon helmet with the yellow Central Michigan logo on the sides.
Also very interesting with the Falcons helmets. This weekend, not only is it Falcon Family Weekend, but during portions of the game, we will also be honoring the 40th anniversary of the 1985 season where the Falcons went 11-0, 9-0 in conference. At the time, it was their 8th Mid-American Conference title. So always nice to see when we have reunions like that, Tyler.
It always is indeed. Cameron Petaway, as I mentioned, back deep for Bowling Green. Petaway leads the nation 35.1 kick return yards per kick return. He's been electric this season, as we're still waiting for Central Michigan to be able to kick it away here. A little bit of a holding pattern from the officials, and now we're about to get underway. The stadium's still filling up. Probably won't get fully filled up until we're about midway through the first quarter.
And you mentioned the hold-up, Tyler. I just saw just now the ball fell off the tee a couple times for Central Michigan. So
it is very windy out here in Bowling Green today.
Definitely will play a factor in today's game.
Cade Graham runs up, kicks it away, and we are underway from Deutsch L. Perry Stadium. Cameron Petaway will let it fly out the back of the end zone, and Bowling Green will start with the ball on their own 25-yard line. Lucia Anderson, the third, gets the start for the second straight weeks for the Falcons. He's 9 for 16 on passes this year. It's been a very small sample size for the sophomore quarterback. Last week, he went 9 for 16, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He has just 28 career passing attempts to 45 career rushing attempts. Still running back by committee for the Falcons. It'll be Cameron Petaway to his right. Motioning is RJ Garcia. It's going to be handoff to Petaway to the left side. He's at the 30, at the 35, 40. There goes Petaway out of bounds at the midfield at 50-yard line. What a run by Cameron Petaway to begin the game.
And you mentioned Adam talk about it in the pregame show. Bowling Green establishing the run game early. That is definitely a way to get the start out. And Cameron Petaway, we've seen him made a lot of highlight reel plays this year. Maybe today might be another day for him.
And they're going to say he got pushed out of bounds just before that midfield logo, so they will mark him at the 47-yard line. It's going to be a handoff once again to Petaway. He'll cross the midfield logo, stretch himself to the other 48-yard line. Now into Central Michigan territory after just 2 plays. Cameron Petaway, a real nice start for him, and that's good to see from Petaway, who didn't really get much on the ground. Just a few carries last week against Toledo. Of course, the 2 touchdown receptions helped him a bit.
Absolutely, Tyler.
It's going to be a fake handoff. Lucian's going to keep it, and he's going to be wrapped up and taken down immediately. Michael Heldman, the redshirt senior defensive end, in there for his 5.5 sacks on the season now.
Yeah, and it looked like just
blew up that play.
Yeah, left tackle Tunde Farukasi just missed his blocking assignment right there. And that's something that Eddie George has really preached about, minimizing mistakes on offense and when you're trying to move the ball down the field. And we've seen this happen with this Falcons offense numerous times throughout the year.
A little bit of a read play, and Lucian got stuffed. He will fake a handoff to Petaway, run with it himself, gets back to the 50-yard line, still pushing to the 45, and he breaks free. He got out of that pile. Let's see where they mark he went. I didn't even see him break free out of that.
Flag on the play.
But there is a flag on the field. Seeing the replay here.
Looks like they might get the offensive line for holding right here, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Toe tapped the line, not even sure if he stayed in bounds. Laundry still in the field, no signal from the official. 13-18 to play here in the first quarter at the Deutsch. Nothing the score between Bowling Green and Central Michigan. As they mentioned on the pregame show, I want to give a huge shout out to the Blues Breakfast, Don, Kenny, and Deb, for giving us this opportunity to broadcast on WBGU 88.1 FM here today. Their show usually runs from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., so make sure to tune into them for future reference. It's a great show they run. One of the best shows on WBGU, hands down.
And to update the penalty, it was actually holding on the defense, so Falcons' big chunk of yardage there as they set up right into the red zone.
A huge chunk of yards as Bowling Green now gets in the red zone to Central Michigan's 17-yard line. Big opportunity here for Bowling Green. A 1st and 10. It will be a handoff to Chris McMillan up the middle. He's going to push to the 15-yard line. They'll say about maybe the 15.5-yard line, just short of that mark.
You mentioned Chris
as we do have a Chippewa down on the field.
Looks like one of their interior linemen right here.
Gain of 2 on the play for the Falcons.
Maybe Dakota Cochran, the outside linebacker. Not exactly sure. He's still down We're going to take a quick break. We'll give you an update when we come back. Scoreless between Bowling Green and Central Michigan at the Deloitte. 12:52 left to play in the first quarter. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Every Saturday morning from 10 to 2, dive into the heart of the blues with McKinley Smith and Kenny Rogers on the Blues Breakfast. Catch the soulful tunes live or stream it anytime at bgfalconmedia.com. This is WBGU 88.1 FM, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
It was Dakota Cochran, the injured player for Central Michigan. He was able to jog off, a good sign. So we're back underway. Petaway to the left of Anderson. It's going to be handoff to Petaway, cuts left, and he's got nowhere to go. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to mark him a 1 yard behind. He'll be stopped at the 16-yard line. But there is, it appears, a flag on the field. We'll see what this call is. It's going to be holding on Tunde Fanakasi, the starting left tackle. So that'll push Bowling Green back 5 yards.
And you mentioned before the injury timeout, Tyler. You know, Chris McMillan, another key part to this Bowling Green run game. So far, 58 carries, 248 yards, averaging 4.3 yards per carry, and so far 3 trips to the end zone for the Fort Valley, Georgia native.
Team's leading rusher, just under 50 yards a game for McMillan. 2nd and 19 for Bowling Green at the 26-yard line. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. McMillan with it, pushing. He'll get a few yards. Looks like down to about the 23.5-yard line.
The ball carrier for the Falcons.
Now this Central Michigan defense is starting to get a good idea of what the Bowling Green offense is about. You know, this would definitely be a good time for the Falcon offense to get some of the passing game going just a bit.
Very long third down for Bowling Green. 3rd and 15 at Central Michigan's 23-yard line. Central Michigan notably the worst third down defense in the MAC. Opponents convert on third downs at over a 50% clip, 50.6% to be exact. McMillan to the right of Lucian Anderson the third. Finn Hogan, the only receiver, out wide right. It's going to be a handoff to McMillan. He is hit in the backfield quickly by Michael Heldman, who continues to wreak havoc on this first drive by the Falcons offense. He's followed up by a few more teammates, and it's a big stop, a stop of 3 yards for the Central Michigan defense. Makes it a 4th and 18 on the 25-yard line, and out comes Jackson Cleather to attempt the field goal.
12 for 13 this year with a 92.3 completion percentage of his field goals.
43-yard attempt for Cleather. The snap from Carlson, the hold by Kenner, the kick by Cleather. It is up, and it is good. Jackson Cleather stays consistent and puts Bowling Green on the board. 3-0 their lead. 10:43 to play in the first quarter at Dwight L. Perry Stadium on the campus of Bowling Green State University. You're listening to BGSU football right here on WBGU 88.1 FM. Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU Student Media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
BGSU men's soccer senior forward Trace Terry scored a brace on senior night at Cochran Stadium in the Falcons' 3-1 victory over the Bradley University Braves on October 10th. Terry also added an assist to go with his 2 goals on the game. A draft pick in the 2025 MLS Super Draft by Seattle Sounders FC, Terry has scored 8 goals and 2 assists on the season for a total of 18 points on the campaign. Terry currently leads the team in goals, points, shots on goal, and game-winning goals. Senior defender Amir Diach and midfielder Andrew Schaefer, along with Terry, were honored before the game as 3 graduating seniors on the team. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Nothing. Bowling Green over Central Michigan after the first offensive drive by the Falcons. 10:43 left to play in the first quarter here in Bowling Green. Tyler Kamlitz alongside Carter Leonard. Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. And Carter, what did you notice in that first offensive drive by Bowling Green that stuck out to you?
Well, we saw them get off to a really terrific start. You know, that big run from Cameron Petaway. We saw Lucian Anderson get loose a little bit, who's also been known to be a really solid runner. Had a 75-yard TD against Louisville despite that loss. But we also saw some of the self-inflicted errors that this Falcon offense has been suffering a lot lately. We saw some holding penalties. We saw them not being able to get runs the way they needed to. So that's something that they're going to have to clean up as the defense comes out onto the field.
Michael Heldman wreaking havoc as well. He got in the backfield a few times, a couple of big stops for the Central Michigan defense. Heldman now 14.5 sacks in his Central Michigan career. Kicking it away is Zach Long for Bowling Green. And it is going to be returned by Nari Biggins for Central Michigan, and he's hit quick, and he's dropped inside the 15-yard line of Central Michigan's. A nice job by the special teams unit for Bowling Green as we have a tad bit of a scrum in front of the Bowling Green sideline. Looks like a couple players just got tangled up at the end of the play. Nothing big there. However, there is a flag on the field. We'll see what this is about.
Couldn't exactly tell who it was in that little skirmish right there, but we'll see the refs' discussion here just shortly.
Two of the more penalized teams in the MAC. Bowling Green 6.5 per game, 11th in the conference. Central Michigan 6.3 per game, 9th in the conference.
Offside, 15, number 24.
It's offsides on Bowling Green. And there's also a sideline warning for Bowling Green. It appears you do have the double numbers for each team. So that was either Justin Eklund, the linebacker, or Bryce DeFalco, the running back. And then you do also have a Central Michigan player who had to sit out a play for losing a helmet. So a lot to unpack there. But I know Eddie George is not going to be happy with the sideline warning. That's something that he is going to draw on to his team, that they cannot take those.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to cause anything stupid on the sideline. You know, again, mentioning those self-inflicted errors, and that's something that Eddie George really, really preaches about, as well as the rest of the coaching staff.
And so how about this? We're going to replay that kickoff. So it was a nice stop by the Bowling Green special teams unit inside the 15-yard line of CMU's. Instead, they'll have to do it again. So Central Michigan puts 2 kick returners back there, Nari Biggins and Justin Ruffin Jr. Biggins averages just over 10 yards a return, just over 20 yards a return this season. Ruffin has not had a return. Zach Long kicks it away. It is kicked towards Biggins. He's going to catch it at his 9-yard line, takes it to the 15, 20, right side of the field, 25, still going, 30, gets tripped up, and he's dropped just after the 30-yard line. So a nice, decent return by Nari Biggins, and that will bring out this Central Michigan offense led by Joe Labus. They do have a dual quarterback system. Labus mainly the passer, Angel Flores mainly the runner.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a challenge for this Bowling Green defense, but we have seen key pieces of this defense, like Gideon Lamprin, for example, MAC Defensive Player of the Week, looking for yet another big game, but that's something that's going to keep this Falcons defense on their toes, running that 2-quarterback option.
Labus, 70% completion percentage this year, 694 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an interception. Labus takes the snap. He's going to run it up the middle, and he's going to get to the 35-yard line and keep pushing a few yards after that. They'll mark him at the 36. Kyle Pascal, Keon Washington in for the stop. 6-yard gain on the first play of offense for the day for Central Michigan. 2nd and 4 with just over 10 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, you mentioned we talk about the defense a little bit more. Talking about the defensive line with Eric George, Dyer Kelly, Evan Branch Haynes, and even Miles Bradley, who had a big week last week against Toledo. We're definitely going to see a lot more of this interior line for the Falcons here.
Miles Bradley's been so solid for Bowling Green over the past couple of weeks. A motion for Central Michigan going to be a fake jet sweep. It was fake to Tyson Davis, the wide receiver. Labus runs it up the middle for a few yards. This Central Michigan team not afraid to run the ball. In their weekly press conference this week, Matt Drinkel, the Central Michigan head coach, said about this game, it's two offenses that want to be physical and downhill, and two defenses that take a lot of pride in being fast and physical. The environment's going to be great. It's going to be a physical, old-school football game like the way it should be played. Labus under center, gets a motion. It's going to be a handoff to Biggins, and he's going absolutely nowhere. A nice stop by the Bowling Green defense. As in there for the stop was A.J. Odom, the middle linebacker.
You also saw a little bit of Dyer Kelly in there as well as an assisted tackle.
2-yard loss brings up 2nd and 12. 8:45 to play in this first quarter. Bowling Green leads 3-0 over Central Michigan. A Jackson Cleather field goal putting the Falcons ahead. Biggins to the left of Labus. It's going to be another fake jet sweep. He's going to run up the middle. Not much doing. Maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
That tackle was made by Jalen McClendon, too, the right side corner for this Falcons secondary. That's another thing with this Falcons defense as well that is something that they're going to definitely have to fix. That so far in games so far this year, Tyler, we've seen this Falcons defense give up a lot of big chunk plays. So that is something that they will have to do some fine-tuning, if you will.
Brings up a 3rd and 9. Bowling Green, the third best third down defense in the MAC, 29th best third down defense in the country. It's a different quarterback back there. That's Angel Flores. He's going to pass it out to the right side. That's complete, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough for a first down. It was completed to Brock Townsend, a running back. There's our first look at Angel Flores on the day. Flores, typically the running quarterback. That time we saw him passing. Really a two-quarterback system where both of them can do a little bit of everything. And Central Michigan's going to have to punt it away on their first drive from their own 43-yard line.
And we also saw the first tackle of the day from Kyle Pascal, safety for the Falcons.
Brennan Ridley's back there. It's not that long of a punt by Declan Dooley. And it is received by Brennan Ridley. Fair caught. I haven't seen an exact marker of where they're going to say that he is. They will say the 25-yard line, and that will take us to a media timeout. So we'll step away. 7:09 to play in the first quarter. Bowling Green leads Central Michigan 3-0 here at the Deutsch. You're listening to BGSU Football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU men's soccer plays Drake in a must-win 4th Missouri Valley Conference game in Des Moines, Iowa on Saturday, October 18th at 8:30 p.m., seeking to remain undefeated against the Bulldogs. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com where you can find a recap of the match by Falcon Media Sports Network's Foster Rostai, along with additional content about the team and BGSU athletics.
I need some extra money. Do I qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit?
Use the EITC Assistant tool. With just a little information, this tool helps you calculate eligibility with ease and accuracy, get an estimate of how much credit you qualify for, and get a printout of your results before you prepare your return or visit your tax preparer. To use the EITC Assistant tool and see if you're eligible to claim the credit, visit irs.gov/EITC.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Hutchinson, host of The Swoop.
And this is Brooke Blake, executive producer for The Swoop. The Swoop is BG24's sports talk show about all things BGSU athletics.
New episodes come out every Thursday at 6 p.m. at bgfalconmedia.com.
Our first signs of Punch the Cat here at Doint L. Perry Stadium, getting this crowd on their feet. Their Falcons lead Central Michigan to 3-0, 7:09 to play in the first quarter. Tyler Kavelitz alongside Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Great to have you with us here today. A beautiful day in Bowling Green. We will hit 80 degrees as this game continues to go on, and the sky continues to clear out. Perfect weather for an October football game as we continue to near closer to November and continue to go through this Mid-American Conference schedule, now officially in the back half of the college football season.
Doesn't even feel real sometimes, Tyler. That's just how quickly it goes.
Lucian Anderson the third, hands it off to Karen Petaway to the right side. He gains a few yards. They're going to mark him down at the 29-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4 yards by Petaway. Petaway now up over 30 yards rushing on just 3 carries for the Falcons.
Starting to see the run game go a little bit more to the outside as compared to going up the middle, which is something that this Bowling Green team has been historically known for doing with the run game.
Lucian going to go up to the line, and apologies. Got a bit mixed up there. They're going to say it's a loss of 1. He got pushed back in a pile, although it still says 2nd and 10. Going to be another run up the middle. This one does go for a gain. It is Petaway. And Petaway gets himself to the 30-yard line this time. So it'll be a 3rd and 5 for Bowling Green. Once again, Central Michigan, the worst third down defense in the MAC. And get this, they are the 4th worst third down defense in the entire country.
Truly remarkable stats.
Petaway to the left side of Lucian. Jacob Harris comes in motion to the right side. Lucian drops back, looking to his right. Incomplete, trying to find R.J. Garcia the second. A few yards downfield, he was double-teamed, threw it into traffic. It was knocked away, and it's going to be a 3-and-out for the Bowling Green offense as John Henderson will come on and punt it away for Bowling Green.
Yeah, just not the best decision-making in the world right there. You saw the double coverage right there and just how close of a gap that it was closing in, giving Garcia basically little to no time to complete that pass.
George Carlson will snap it back to John Henderson. 5:49 to play in the first quarter. Still 3-0 Bowling Green. Henderson gets the punt away. Back to return the punt is going to be the Central Michigan player that was Caleb Spann. He's just going to sit right on it as it gets to him, as it bounced a few times. A nice Bowling Green bounce, and it'll be marked down just shy of the 30-yard line. They'll say the 29-yard line, and that's where Central Michigan's drive will begin. 3-0 Bowling Green. 5:41 to play in the first quarter. You're listening to BGSU football against Central Michigan on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Bowling Green football overcame a 21-0 deficit against Toledo this past Saturday and defeated the Rockets by a final score of 28-23. I'm really proud of our boys, George said. It's just how we handle adversity. BG's running back Cameron Petaway put the Orange and Brown on the board by a 45-yard house call to make it a 21-7 lead. Petaway also caught a 73-yard touchdown pass from Bowling Green receiver R.J. Garcia to tie the game at 21. And later, running back Chris McMillan put the Orange and Brown on top for good at 28-21. BGSU ultimately won the battle of I-75 by winning 28-23. The victory marked the biggest comeback in program history. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Choosing to buy a gun was not a decision I took lightly. But with everything going on, I really wanted to feel like I could protect myself. I hadn't thought about the danger of an unlocked gun in my own home until...
Mia, where are your napkins? Ooh, not that drawer. Unless anyone needs a gun.
Now, I always lock my gun to keep everyone safe. Visit endfamilyfire.org to learn how to store your guns more securely. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Here's that song again. Here's that song again. For the 100th time today. Here's that song again. It's gonna be stuck in your head all day. Here's that song again. It will make you cray cray.
You love your kids enough to watch that TV show a bajillion times. Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat for their age and size. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Central Michigan back on the field on offense. It's going to be Angel Flores under center, the junior quarterback. Once again, Labus and Flores switch behind center for the Chippewas.
Flores in the quarterback for Central Michigan as they take over first and 10 at their 29.
Flores known to be a heavy runner.
Flores going to fake a handoff, running up the middle, not going that far. Going to be wrapped up by Eric George. And it's going to be a gain of about 1 yard. They're going to give him the full yard. 2nd and 9 upcoming on the 30-yard line of Central Michigan.
Eric George, 6'3", 285-pound junior from Tennessee State.
Displayed on the big screen now, there is a sign, Gabriel, will you marry me, love Bobby, flying over the Doit. Quite the proposal on a big screen here at the stadium. That's a way to do it. As it's going to be a handoff for Central Michigan. That's going to get a few yards as it was Trey Cornish, the first time we've seen him on the ground. He's going to push up 5 yards. It'll be a 3rd and 4.
We're also seeing Brock Townsend jump into the game. 26 carries, 187 yards, and 7.2 average per carry.
3rd and 4. Bowling Green's been great on 3rd downs. Still under center is Angel Flores. 67% completion percentage. Nearly 400 yards rushing on the season. He's going to run it up the middle, and he's going to get the first down up to the 40-yard line. A nice run on 3rd down by Angel Flores, and he moves the chains for Central Michigan.
And going back to the Central Michigan run game, sitting 3rd in the entire Mid-American Conference. So you know going into this game for this Bowling Green defense that this was going to be a challenge to stop the run.
Back in the game is Joe Labus. He's going to be under center. You do not see this much in college football nowadays. 2 running backs in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff up the middle to Brock Townsend. He'll push for a few yards, still pushing. They're going to blow the whistle finally. It'll be a gain of just 1 yard. And it will be... Our apologies, they're going to give him 5 yards. They're going to say that he kept pushing that pile before the whistle blew out. Kyle Pascal was in there on the stop, but there is laundry on the field. We'll see what the call is. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Bowling Green, Jalen McClendon. So a couple interesting penalties by Bowling Green early on. McClendon, unsportsmanlike conduct after the play. Already had a bench warning for the Bowling Green sideline. Eddie George won't be too happy with those.
Absolutely not. McClendon, one of the big-time leaders in this Bowling Green secondary. 18 solo tackles, 8 assisted, 26 overall. 6 foot, 185-pound senior. So not the greatest leadership moment in the world, but again, another self-inflicted mistake.
It'll be 1st and 10 on Bowling Green's 39-yard line. It's going to be a handoff for Central Michigan, and that's going absolutely nowhere.
A.J. Odom once again breaking through that Central Michigan offense.
Also saw Gideon Lampron, among others, stopping Brock Townsend in the backfield. It's going to be a big loss of 4 yards. Brings up a 2nd and 14. Ball now on Bowling Green's 43. Falcons lead 3-0, 2:40 and counting down to play in this first quarter at Dwight L. Perry Stadium. Angel Flores back in the backfield. Nari Biggins to his right. 3 wideouts to the right side. It's going to be a fake handoff, and Flores is going to keep it. and he'll dive to the 39-yard line, or apologies, to the 41-yard line. He nearly gets back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd and 11.
About a 3-yard gain right there. And this is where you have to get off the field if you are Bowling Green. You know, you're in these 3rd and long situations, and we talked about earlier, they are known for giving up big chunk plays. You cannot let something like that happen. So this is a must-stop for the Falcons.
Have not really seen Central Michigan go through the air. It's been a lot of run to the Chippewas. Angel Flores going to hand it off to Biggins up the middle. He's going to push for maybe a gain of 1. It'll be 4th and 11. David Afogo on the stop. And we'll see what Central Michigan decides to do here. They're going to punt it away. They'll punt it away at Bowling Green's 40. Not going to go for a field goal attempt. Would be against the wind.
Once again,
just over a minute to play in this first quarter now.
And once again, it will be Brendan Ridley back to receive.
Punt is away. It's a good one. Ridley calls a fair catch. The wind pushing it back, and he will make the fair catch at the 8-yard line, and that's where Bowling Green will have the start pinned back on their side of the field. 1:06 to play in the first quarter. When we come back, we'll see the Bowling Green offense operating from their own 8-yard line. 3-0 Bowling Green. You're listening to BGSU Football on WBGU 88.1 FM. Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU Student Media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Wake up every weekday with WBGU in the Morning Show. The Morning Show is a community resource for weekly events, news, sports, weather, interviews with community officials and organizations, birthday and anniversary announcements, and more. Listen live every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. locally on 88.1 FM or streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
A lot of people have trouble filing their taxes. I wonder if I can help.
You can help people with low to moderate income file their taxes through the IRS's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, VITA, or Tax Counseling for the Elderly, TCE programs. As a volunteer, you'll learn how to prepare individual tax returns, and at the same time, you'll help taxpayers get tax credits and deductions they're entitled to. If you'd like to volunteer, go to irs.gov and type Tax Volunteer in the search field for more details.
3-0 Bowling Green, 1:06 to play in the first quarter at Dwight L. Perry Stadium. Bowling Green going to have to operate from near their end zone, pinned to their 8-yard line after the good punt by Central Michigan's Declan Dooley. That's where Lucian Anderson III in this Bowling Green offense will start. Just one wide out to the left side, that is Finn Hogan. It's Chris McMillan in the backfield to the left of Anderson. It's going to be a handoff to McMillan. He's going to push ahead. A nice run by McMillan up past the 15-yard line. They'll mark him at the 16. And it's going to be nearly a first down. There's just a few yards short. It'll be an 8-yard gain. Brings up 2nd and 2.
And for the viewers at home, and Tyler, you and I can definitely hear it, the wind is continuing to pick up ever so slightly as we continue to move along as the first quarter continues to wind down.
McMillan still in the backfield for Bowling Green. Finn Hogan out wide to the right now. Still the only wide receiver out on the field. It'll be a handoff to McMillan, going absolutely nowhere this time. Central Michigan defensive line and the linebackers swarm him up. And it'll be no gain on the play. Brings up a 3rd and 2 from the Bowling Green 16-yard line. And I believe the Falcons will just let time expire from the first quarter here. So after the first 15 minutes of play, it's Bowling Green 3, Central Michigan 0. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM. Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com. On January 31st, 2025, BGSU senior forward Jackson Niedermeyer scored a game-winning goal in overtime on the road against Northern Michigan, notching BG 2 points and securing Niedermeyer's first multi-point game as a Falcon. Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak had the call on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Larson with the shot taken away by Bowling Green. This is Jackson Niedermeyer, takes it up the right wing, looking for a pass, now looking for a shot, he scores! Jackson Niedermeyer, the overtime winner with a buck left in overtime. And Bowling Green takes the much-needed extra point. What a wrist shot.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
After one quarter of play, Bowling Green 3, Central Michigan 0. Tyler Kamlitz alongside Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. And just on the field there, they are honoring the 1985 Bowling Green football team, the MAC championship winning football team. 40th anniversary for them. Carter, you were one of a few of our members who got to do a few stories on that team. That's now live on bgfalconmedia.com, so be sure to go check those out and read those after the game day. Can you just talk a little bit about that project?
Yeah, absolutely, Tyler. Me and a few other FMSN members, it was really cool to dive deep into what that season was like, the storylines going into that year, what transpired. Obviously, the bitter ending in that California Bowl game against Fresno State left a lot to be desired, but it was truly nice to see, us go back in time a little bit and have a bunch of interviews with people like Brian McClure, former quarterbacks coach Mark Miller, and a bunch of others. It was definitely a really fun project to do, and something that not only myself but the other members who were involved are really proud of as well.
If you'd like to read another few stories in a series about an anniversary of a team, it's the 10-year anniversary of the 2015 MAC championship winning team, the last MAC championship winning football team for Bowling Green. Reese Patricus and I did a feature series on that to begin the year. He's now working at the Sydney Daily News, and it's actually his birthday today, so shout out to Reese Patricus, former Falcon Media Sports Network member. Back underway here. That's a nice run to begin the second quarter by Cameron Petaway. He's going to move the chains for Bowling Green. He'll get a first down and move the ball up to the 23-yard line. Bowling Green now going right to left. Central Michigan will now be going left to right across the field and your radio dials.
Nice to see this Bowling Green offense, capitalize on those third and short moments, because we've seen that the past couple of drives when they've been on the field.
Head away to the left side of Lucian. Lucian's going to roll out to the left and complete it. That is to Kadarius Roberts, and he is quickly wrapped up by Dakota Cochran. Saw Cochran a little bit slow to get off the field early in the first quarter. He stayed in the game, makes the play there, but it will be a gain of 3 yards to Kadarius Roberts, one of Bowling Green's leading pass catchers as a running back. He will exit the field as a new unit will come on in for Bowling Green. 3-0 Falcons. A minute expired in this second quarter. Finn Hogan out wide left for Bowling Green. Lucian going to drop back. He's going to do a throw. Screen pass. It's going to be tipped off the hands and intercepted by Central Michigan. It's going to be taken all the way to the 1-yard line. They're going to say it was tipped off the hands of the intended receiver and picked off by Jordan Kwiatkowski.
Yeah, we just saw what we saw last week, try to do one of those screen passes. Looked like Cameron Pettaway just a little bit too high, got the fingertips of Pettaway and just right into the hands of Kwiatkowski, and that will set Central Michigan up in their own red zone. Very bad mistake from this Falcon offense early.
The classic tip drill pays off for the Chippewas. A huge impact play, and they're 1 yard away from taking the lead against Bowling Green. It'll be Angel Flores under center. Brock Townsend to his right. Flores will keep it up the middle. Flores is in for a touchdown. Angel Flores gives Central Michigan the lead over Bowling Green 6-3 after the interception by Jordan Kwiatkowski.
Yeah, and going back to the BG offense, so that's definitely one they're going to want to have back. Just those mistakes and nothing. Lucian Anderson really did anything wrong right there. It was just a little bit of a high pass, and it looked like Pettaway had to really jump for it in order to grab it, and that's not something that you normally see out of correct screen passes, but just harsh mistake, and it benefited the Chippewas to the bitter end.
Cade Graham in to kick the point after. It is up, and it is good. 7-3, Central Michigan's lead. And how about Jordan Kwiatkowski? Second interception of the year, a second-team All-MAC selection last season. Loves playing against the Falcons. Had 11 tackles and a tackle for loss against Bowling Green last season. Gets the interception that leads to a touchdown for Central Michigan here today. Brand new ball game, 13:39 to play in the second quarter. Central Michigan 7, Bowling Green 3 on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU women's soccer is traveling to Buffalo, New York to face the Buffalo University Bulls on Thursday, October 23rd at the UB Stadium. The last time these two teams met resulted in a 1-1 tie at BG's Cochran Stadium last season. Check bgfalconmedia.com after the match to read the recap of Falcon Media Sports Network's Henry Costco and additional content.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
On September 30th, 2025, BGSU men's soccer forward Bennett Painter ended his multiple-match scoring drought with a goal against Northern Kentucky, helping the Falcons defeat the Norse 2-0 to end a 2-match losing streak at Cochran Stadium. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer had the call on WBGU PBS YouTube channel.
Hernandez, Terry gets it back to Hernandez, gets it through to Bennett Painter, takes a curling shot, it's in! Oh, what a goal and what a strike from Bennett Painter! Another masterpiece at Cochran Stadium, painted perfectly on the canvas. It's 2-0 Bowling Green.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Central Michigan coming off a bye week. This week's press conference, Matt Drinkwell, the head coach of the Chippewas, talked about the Akron loss the week before, said he didn't think his team was emotionally ready to go, which was a shortcoming on him. They started slow and didn't execute. It was frustrating. It forced them to play a game they didn't want to play, where they were a couple scores behind and have to throw it more than they run it. Not in that situation today. They have started fast with a big turnover on the interception of Lucian Anderson III by Jordan Kwiatkowski. Took it to the 1 yard line, punched in by Angel Flores for a touchdown. Central Michigan leads 7-3. Kickoff is going to be returned. That is not Cameron Petaway. They kicked it away from him. It's Keon Washington. He brings it up to the 26-yard line. So Bowling Green will start a yard ahead of schedule as they look to get back on top, find the scoreboard once again, trailing by 4 points, 13:32 to go in the second quarter.
And you mentioned Kwiatkowski on that defense for the Central Michigan. So far, 3 pass deflections. So he definitely has a knack for getting to the ball, regardless if it's tipped by him, tipped by someone else. He's definitely been a ball hawk this year for the Chippewas defense.
Chris McMillan will be in the backfield for Bowling Green. And it's going to be a shovel pass him to the left side. He's going to get to the 30, just past there. They will mark him down at the 31-yard line. So a nice gain of 5 yards on first down by McMillan. Both these teams establishing the run early and often. It's been an old school smash mouth football game so far, like we expected.
Saw Jiren Johnson there, tight end number 7 for the Falcons. A little bit slow to get up there, but he's back behind the offensive line there.
RJ Garcia out wide to the right side. 3 tight ends motion to the right side. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, going absolutely nowhere. Cameron Petaway has bounced back a few yards. It's going to be a loss of 2 back to the 29-yard line, and it will be 3rd and 8. They're going to say a loss of 3 now, so 3rd and 8 for Bowling Green. Again, Central Michigan not a good 3rd down defense, but it's to their advantage when Bowling Green keeps having to go at these 3rd and longs. See what the Falcons can draw up. Finn Hogan, RJ Garcia the second, out wide right. It's going to be a handoff up the middle.
Looked like the ball may have been lost right there. We didn't see the ball come out from the center's hands. Lucian Anderson.
Not exactly sure. Was that a false start by everyone? It is a false start. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 3rd and 13. Just an odd sequence there.
Yeah, and I was just mentioning, Tyler, Lucian Anderson was completely confused as to why the ball wasn't snapped right then and there. So still keeping the ball, but it will be another 3rd and long situation for the Falcons that they need to capitalize on in order to make this game an even side of the fair.
Allen Middleton, Finn Hogan out wide to the left. It's going to be Jiren Johnson, RJ Garcia to the right. It'll be a throw to Johnson to the right side for a few yards. Not going to be enough for a first down. John Henderson will come on and punt it away for Bowling Green. Not a great offensive set there by the Falcons.
No, definitely not, Tyler. You kind of want, if you're a fan in the stands right now, you kind of want the Falcons to go a little bit more spread on their offense. Get a little bit more of the pass and run game going instead of just to like an 80-20% of offense.
Henderson from the 28-yard line boots it away. Nice punt. Going to be fair caught at the 20-yard line. That's where Central Michigan will begin their next drive after the fair catch by Caleb Spann. As we will head to a media timeout. Central Michigan 7, Bowling Green 3, 11-17 to play in the second quarter. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
The Zig Zone, Falcon Media Sports Network's weekly radio show dedicated to BGSU athletics, has a new segment. Make sure to tune into the show every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. to listen to the one-on-one segment, where Holden Ruck will interview a key figure in BGSU athletics.
Millions of people all over the world go hungry, while we waste our land and water resources. Did you know that raising animals for human consumption uses 8 times as much water as growing fruits, vegetables, and grains? And that the same amount of land can produce 17 times more soybean protein than meat protein? For great vegetarian recipes, write People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's PETA, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510. Thanks.
If you're a veteran looking to file for your service-connected benefits through the Department of Veterans Affairs, don't go it alone. AMVET's highly trained service officers stand ready to walk you through the process at VA regional offices around the country, helping you to navigate the complex VA system free of charge. With new presumptions for Agent Orange exposure and other conditions, AMVETS can offer you the advice you need to finally receive all of your earned benefits. In 2009 alone, AMVETS helped process more than 65,000 claims and appeals, securing more than $410 million in benefits. To find your nearest AMVET service officer or to learn more, visit amvets.org.
BGSU Women's Golf heads out west to battle the Kansas State Wildcats in the PowerCat Invitational on a Monday and Tuesday series from October 20th to October 21st. This will be the final invitational for the Falcons this season. Check out the recap by Falcon Media Sports Network, Golf Beat, Aiden Brewick, and all other BGSU athletic content on bgfalconmedia.com.
Central Michigan's offense back out on the field with a 4-point advantage, 7-3, 11-17 to go in the first half of this ball game. What have been your takeaways so far, Carter?
Just the offense not really gaining as much as they should have been. You know, we saw a lot
for Bowling Green.
For Bowling Green, absolutely. You know, just a lot of self-inflicted errors, not really getting the run game going the way they needed to, and just not really taking advantage of opportunities to catch this CMU defense off guard.
Joe Labus in shotgun, Biggins to his left, going to be a throw to the right side, targeting his tight end, Colin Payne, it's wide receiver, Colin Payne. Payne slipped on the Bowling Green turf, falling down, not able to get to that ball. Payne spent the past 2 seasons at Golden West Community College, has just 3 receptions for 24 yards this season, but he's a fast one, ran an 11.37 100-meter dash in high school. Labus with Biggins to his left once again. Fake handoff, going to look to his left. This one incomplete once again. Once again to Colin Payne, who slips for the second straight time. Back-to-back pass attempts to Payne on either side of the field, the long side and the short side. He slips on the turf both times, unable to catch the pass.
Tyler, I don't know what the odds of that exactly happening are, but for Colin Payne, it was definitely 2 times in a row. So definitely been on the slippery side of the field right now here at Doyle Perry Stadium.
Nasir Williams out wide right, Justin Ruffin Jr. and Colin Payne out wide to the left. Fake handoff. It's going to be thrown down the middle, and that is complete to Payne. Payne with some open space at the 30, getting past defenders, 25-20. What a catch, and catch after by Colin Payne. Gets down to the Bowling Green 16-yard line.
We mentioned it numerous times on the broadcast so far, Tyler. Bowling Green giving up those big chunk plays in the secondary when on defense, and that was just another case. This time, Colin Payne getting a big-time redemption, if you will, from those 2 slips that he had not too long ago.
63-yard reception by Colin Payne makes up for the 2 slips. And a new quarterback in there, Angel Flores, the backup in once again. It's going to be a handoff to Biggins. He escapes a tackle on the right side. Now 20, 15, 10 on the left side to the 5, trying to push in. And they're going to say he stepped out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. What a recovery. They're going to say the 4 now officially. What a recovery by Biggins. Tried to go to the right side, was almost wrapped up, spun out of the tackle, found open field to the left side, nearly punched it in for the Chippewas.
And Biggins is someone that we have talked about on the punt return and kick return, but not necessarily when he's toting the rock, if you will. 54 carries for 278 yards, averaging 5.1 yards per carry, and a trip to the end zone earlier this year. 6'1", 210 pounds for that CMU backfield.
Flags out on the field before the next play can commence. False start on Ryan Bloom, the starting center from Chandler, Arizona. Was ranked the number 5 center in the country out of high school. And he jumps a bit early. Don't really see that too often, a false start by the center.
Yeah, definitely not, because you look at the center as the captain, essentially, on that offensive line, and you're not, like you mentioned, Tyler, you're not typically used to seeing the center move forward because he moves the ball to start the play.
It'll be 1st and goal for Central Michigan from the 8-yard line. They cannot get another first down that is not in the end zone. Townsend to the right. It's going to be a handoff to the right side, a little bit of jet sweep action. I believe that was Justin Ruffin Jr., the wide receiver. It was. He gets it down to the 1-yard line. A very nice run by him makes it 2nd and goal from the 1.
I believe that also may have been Pascal stopping Ruffin from getting into the end zone right there.
We'll see what Central Michigan draws up here from the 1-yard line. It'll be Flores in the backfield, Townsend to his left. No wide receivers out wide. Big package in for Central Michigan. Flores going to keep it, pushes the right side, still pushing. Helmet comes off from a Bowling Green defender. They're going to say he was stopped short. He was stopped short at the 1-yard line. Also, no gain on the play.
Also looks like he was riding on top of one of his offensive linemen there to give him that extra cushion to ride his way in, but of course, just a yard short on the play.
And that's big. That was Evan Branch Haynes' helmet who came off. So the 6'2", 290 nose tackle will have to go off for a play.
And that'll give Dalen White the ability to check in now for Branch Haynes.
They're going to give David Afogo actually a shot, bring another linebacker in. Flores going to keep it on the left side, pushing. Did he get it? Bowling Green doesn't think so. There is a flag on the field. He was stopped short. We'll see what the call is.
Flag looks to be on Central Michigan.
Appears that a Bowling Green Falcon was in the neutral zone. So that'll be to the advantage of Central Michigan. They'll get half distance to the goal. And that football is as close as it can be to the goal line without being in. When I say that is an inch or two away from the white stripe on the field, I am not over-exaggerating. 3rd and goal, what is really centimeters and inches for Central Michigan. 8:30 to play in the first quarter. They lead 7-3, jumping on the line. Bowling Green thinks it's Central Michigan. It's going to be a false start on the Chippewas.
Looked to have been probably the right guard of Matthew Neff with the false start right there. Saw the first one jumping.
It'll be 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. This is huge for this Bowling Green defense. They are last in the MAC, 92nd in the country in red zone defense. Opponents have scored in 15 of their 17 trips to Bowling Green's red zone.
Watch for a little bit of a play-action pass right here to the end zone. You saw 3 straight pass runs from the Central Michigan offense.
Flores with Townsend to his right. Flores going to keep it himself, pushing at the 1-yard line. Did he get in? He's in for a Central Michigan touchdown.
Flores, the ball carrier for Central.
Continue to get some pushing from his offensive lineman, and he finds pay dirt as there is a late flag that comes out. By the reaction, it appears it may be on Andrew Hines III, the middle linebacker for the Falcons. It was a flag after the play, so a touchdown will stand regardless. And it will be 13-3 Central Michigan pending a PAT. A lot of flags and pushing and shoving and arguments and scuffles after plays so far today.
Yeah, you mentioned numerous times Eddie George not being a fan of that. This is definitely going to be one of those times where Eddie George is going to gather up his defense, tell him to calm down on the sideline.
It's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, but it won't be Hines. It'll be number 44, A.J. Odom, the sophomore middle linebacker from Akron, Ohio. So the touchdown will stand, 13-3 Central Michigan. Cade Graham on to kick the point after. It'll be snapped back by Ben Pratt, the redshirt senior long snapper. Declan Dooley, the punter, will hold it. The kick is up. The kick is good. 14-3 Central Michigan. They have silenced this big crowd at Dwight L. Perry Stadium in Bowling Green for the second straight week. Going to have to mount a comeback at home. They trail Central Michigan 14-3, 8:04 to play in the first half right here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU men's soccer senior forward Trace Terry scored a brace on senior night at Cochran Stadium in the Falcons' 3-1 victory over the Bradley University Braves on October 10th. Terry also added an assist to go with his 2 goals on the game. A draft pick in the 2025 MLS Super Draft by Seattle Sounders FC, Terry has scored 8 goals and 2 assists on the season for a total of 18 points on the campaign. Terry currently leads the team in goals, points, shots on goal, and game-winning goals. Senior defender Amir Diach and midfielder Andrew Schaefer, along with Terry, were honored before the game as 3 graduating seniors on the team. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Many Americans have missed regular dental care in the past few years. It's important to see a dentist twice a year to identify any problems early. Taking care of your oral health helps overall health. Brushing at least twice a day with fluoride toothpaste and flossing daily can help prevent oral health problems. For more information, visit hrsa.gov/oral-health.
It has been a game as advertised, a old-school smash-mouth football game on the gridiron in October in Northwest Ohio. 30 rushing attempts combined by Central Michigan and Bowling Green compared to just 7 passing attempts. And it is the Chippewas out ahead of the Falcons, 14-3 with 8:04 to play in the second quarter.
Middleton and
Central Michigan will kick it away from the 50 due to their unsportsmanlike penalty on Odom of Bowling Green's. And it's going to be a squib kick. That will be picked up by Cameron Petaway at his 10, moving to his right now up the middle of the field, 15-20. He's going to be hit at the 20, taken down at the 19-yard line as we have some more pushing and shoving going on after the play. Two teams have been testy here early on. Bowling Green going to have to do it once again. They're going to have to come back from a deficit at home. Made the largest comeback in a win in program history last week, upsetting Toledo in the Battle of I-75, erasing a 21-point deficit to win 28-23. We'll see if they have it in them once again. Only an 11-point deficit, still a long ways to go. Anderson takes the snap, hands it off to Petaway up the middle. He'll be hit quickly. Maybe a gain of a yard. They'll give him it to the 20. 2nd and 9 upcoming.
And you mentioned it, Tyler, the large deficits this Bowling Green team had a week ago against Toledo. Obviously, they've seen worse situations, but at the end of the day, coming back from any sort of deficit is easier said than done, and this Falcons offense needs to get going sooner rather than later.
Petaway will be in the backfield to the left of Lucian once again. RJ Garcia in motion to the left side. Handoff to Petaway to the right side. Petaway gets a few yards up to the 23-yard line. So it will be a 3rd and 6 for the Falcons. They faced a lot of 3rd and longs early in this contest.
So far, Bowling Green has yet to break just 70 rushing yards so far, with Petaway contributing to 40 of that.
Head away to the right of Lucian Anderson, the third. Flag on the field. False start on Bowling Green.
And it is the right tackle, number 77, I believe, of James Thomas Jr. with the false start. Another crucial penalty to this Bowling Green front line.
3rd and long now for the Falcons behind their original line of scrimmage, 3rd and 11. Lucian takes a snap, drops back to his own 10-yard line. Stepping up in the pocket, Lucian's going to run to the 25, and he's going to be knocked down at the 26. Going to be just a few yards short of the first down. Does Eddie George want to get aggressive? No, he does not. He will punt it away from their own 27-yard line. Eddie George has not been the most aggressive coach in these kind of situations. And he'll give the ball back to Central Michigan on a 4th and 3. John Henderson to punt it away from just in front of his own 10-yard line, standing on his 12. If you remember, Central Michigan kicked it away to begin the game. They will have the ball to begin the second half. It's going to be a fake punt. Henderson's going to run it. He's not going to get it. Bowling Green tried the fake punt. John Henderson ran it up the middle, and he's going to be shy by 2 yards. The trick play fails. Central Michigan gets the ball back in prime position at Bowling Green's 27.
Not too long ago, Tyler, you were just mentioning how Eddie George not the most aggressive when it comes on 4th down. You didn't really expect a fake punt. You mainly expected the offense to continue to stay out on the field right there, and not necessarily the worst fake in the world, as Henderson was only 2 yards short. But man, this is a huge momentum killer to try to find any sense of momentum for this Falcons team, as the Chippewas are now inside within the Falcons 30.
Kind of a shocking decision to run a fake punt that way. Joe Labus back out on the field. Going to be handoff to Biggins, taking his time, moving to the left side past the 25-yard line. He's going to get up to about the 23. Keon Washington in on the tackle for Bowling Green. 2nd and 6 after the 4-yard gain by Biggins. Namri Biggins today, 4 attempts for 17 yards.
Averaging about 3.7 yards per carry as well.
Flores with Biggins to his right once again. It's going to be a jet sweep, almost bobbled by Tyson Davis, the wide receiver, and he's going to be knocked back in the backfield. Caden Marshall, the weak side linebacker, there to make the stop. Boy, Caden Marshall has really stepped up since Dorian Pringle went out for the season with a torn ACL, and Gideon Lampron had to move into the starting middle linebacker role. Caden Marshall has also elevated his game with Lampron.
Absolutely. You know, losing a guy like Pringle is definitely not a sight you want to see with this Falcons defense, but just the whole linebacking core in general has really stepped up, as you mentioned, Tyler.
And we haven't really said Lampron's name much today. He's been a second-half player all season long. Biggins to the right of Labus. Labus going to keep it himself, moving 25 up to the 20. He is going to be 3 yards shy of a first down. It'll be 4th and 3 on Bowling Green's 20. What does Central Michigan do? They're going to bring out the kick unit.
It'll be Cade Graham out there, 9 for 11 on field goal attempts, his longest from 47, with his completion percentage being 81.1%.
It'll be a 38-yard attempt for Graham.
Graham set to attempt a field goal.
The snap back, ball down. Graham's kick is up. Graham's kick, which went above the uprights, is good. 17-3, Central Michigan. 3:48 to play in the second quarter. You're listening to BGSU football from Doydell Perry Stadium on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On September 17, 2025, BGSU volleyball swept the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, marking head coach Alex Del Piombo's first home win, leading the Falcons. Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak had the call of the moment at the Stroh Center.
Anders to Otten, Otten to Hobson. Hobson throws it down. A 3-set sweep for Bowling Green in the 2025 home opener, and the first home win for head coach Alex Del Piombo.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Back here at the Deutsch, 3:48 to go in the second quarter. Central Michigan going to kick it off to Bowling Green. Petaway will not have a chance to return it. It will be Alan Middleton who will take the return. He'll get it up to the 26-yard line. That's where Bowling Green will start their next drive. Down but by 2 touchdowns, 17-3. This offense has been sputtering all game long after the initial drive where they got a field goal from Jackson Cleather, who has been oh so reliable this season. But since then, Carter, not much by the Falcons offense.
Absolutely not. Back-to-back punts on their last 2 offensive drives as well. Barely able to move the ball downfield. And, of course, last week the theme was that they scored before the end of the half to really start to create that momentum translating into the second. Could there be a case of that today? We'll just have to wait and see. But it has to be done sooner rather than later.
Going to be a handoff. Kadarius Roberts bumps it out to the left side. Going to be knocked out of bounds after a gain of a couple of yards.
Kadarius Roberts, the ball carrier.
Kadarius Roberts now in the face of a Central Michigan player. Was in the face of Jayon Jackson, who made the big hit to push him out of bounds, the 5'10" cornerback. Gain of 3 on the run by Roberts. 2nd and 7. 3.5 to play in the second quarter. Again, reminder, Central Michigan will get the ball to begin the second half, up by 2 touchdowns, 17-3. Bowling Green would like some points going into this half, cut away at this deficit. Second straight week they have faced a double-digit deficit. Jumping on the offensive line before the snap, and it looked like as the play started to develop, as the flag was thrown and the whistle was blown, that Lucian was going to try to throw a deep pass to R.J. Garcia down that right side. He was the only wideout to the right. One-on-one coverage. Didn't get the chance to do that. It was offsides by the defense, so the ball will move up 5 yards for Bowling Green. It'll be a 2nd and 2.
I believe that may have been a jump from Dylan Fisher, the defensive lineman, 6 foot, 285 pounds, jumped all the way over the line before the ball was even snapped. So big advantage for here to Bowling Green to capitalize.
Hand off to Petaway. No, it's going to be a fake up the middle. Pass complete to Jyron Johnson towards the midfield logo. They will spot him over in Central Michigan territory on CMU's 49-yard line. A nice connection from Lucian to Jyron for the first down for the Falcons.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of play action there. Also, really good to see the tight ends getting going. You know, going to probably have to see a little bit more of Johnson and even a little bit of Jacob Harris, who's been a big red zone threat if the Falcons could get down there.
Johnson, Middleton, Garcia out wide right. Finn Hogan out wide left. Going to be a handoff up the middle to Kadarius Roberts, going absolutely nowhere. A nice stop by the Central Michigan defense.
Jonathan Decker, the defensive tackle, nose tackle, I should say, literally right up against the ball.
Career high 6 tackles last game against Akron. All 9 tackles this season have come in the past 3 games for him. And that will bring us to the 2-minute timeout. Central Michigan 17, Bowling Green 3. Falcons with the ball on Bowling Green's now 48-yard line after that loss. It'll be 2nd and 13 for them when we come back. Desperately looking for some points to close out this half. You're listening to BGSU Football on WBGU 88.1 FM. Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m. where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey!
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up, it's shifting. I looked through his eyes, I envisioned a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
BGSU Women's Tennis travels to the University of Illinois in Champaign and Urbana, Illinois, where top individuals will compete in the ITA Regionals on Thursday, October 16th through Tuesday, October 21st. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the event and content about the women's tennis team and all things BGSU athletics by Falcon Media Sports Network members.
Bowling Green with the ball on their own 48, facing a 2nd and 13 and 2 minutes to go in the half. They trail by 2 touchdowns, 17-3. Great to have you on the broadcast with us today. Tyler Cavalitz alongside Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Like to give a shout out to the Blues Breakfast for allowing us to broadcast during their time. Normally 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make sure to listen to them from now on WBGU 88.1 FM. Lucian Anderson running a little play action. Going to throw it to Kadaris Roberts down the left side. Big chunk gain down to the Central Michigan 35. Down that left sideline. Nice connection from the quarterback to the running back. And Bowling Green will start moving with this clock continuing to run. Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining.
You mentioned Roberts being one of the big pass-catching running backs on this Bowling Green offense. Another big reception for number 0.
Hand off to Roberts up the middle. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2. Clock continues to run. Now down to 90 seconds in the first half. Bowling Green with the ball on CMU's 34. It'll be a 2nd and 9. Clock continuing to run down to 80 seconds.
We've seen Jacob Harris and Cameron Petaway check into the game.
Clock still going. We're down to 70 seconds in the first half. Both teams still with all 3 timeouts. Lucian finally gets the snap off. And we're going to have a timeout called by Central Michigan. Central Michigan let Bowling Green burn all of that time before calling a timeout. Clock is at 1:05. We'll see if they add a few seconds to it. But it will be a timeout from Central Michigan. So Bowling Green trying to make this drive to get, you would love to find pay dirt, but really get in the field goal range of Jackson Cleather. Right now for Cleather, this would be about a 52-yard attempt. His long is 56.
4 less yards.
The wind is pushing away from us here on top of the press box, so it would be pushing to the right post, the right upright for Cleather. Wouldn't be an easy task from 50-plus yards today with the wind.
Absolutely not. And the flags on the goalposts as well have not stopped moving since kickoff.
Lucian Anderson III drops back, looking to the right side, completes the Jiren Johnson at the 31-yard line. Pushed out of bounds there.
To number 2, R.J. Garcia, pushed out of bounds by number 15, Caleb Spain.
Announced as R.J. Garcia. That was Jiren Johnson on the catch.
And that was only a 3-yard reception right there for the Falcons, so you need a little bit more than that.
3rd and 6 on Central Michigan's 31. 1:02 to play in the second quarter. Petaway to the left of Lucian. Lucian Anderson III takes the snap, drops back, looking to his right, going to throw deep down the sideline. Overshot his wide receiver, which was Finn Hogan, down the right side. Finn Hogan's had a tough couple of weeks. No receptions last week against Toledo, just 3 receptions in his past 3 games. Out of those 3 games, He's been receptionless in 2 of them.
And only being held to 165 yards on the year so far.
So Jackson Cleather on to attempt a 49-yard field goal, 57 seconds to go in the first half. Carlson going to snap it back. Kenner puts it down. Cleather's kick is up. Cleather's kick splits the uprights. Old reliable Jackson Cleather gets it to go. 2 for 2 on the day. And Bowling Green adds another 3 to the scoreboard. Their tally up to 6. Central Michigan 17. So the deficit back down to 11 for Bowling Green with 53 seconds to go in the first half. It's better than nothing for Bowling Green.
Absolutely. You didn't want to result into another scoreless drive. Obviously, you want to get a trip into the end zone. It would have been Bowling Green's first of the day. But leaving the field with possibly another field goal to your name before going into the locker room for halftime is not something to be ashamed of, and it will get you recharged for the second half.
How about that for Jackson Cleather? 14 for 15 on field goals, 14 for 14 on point afters this season. He has been the best kicker in the Mid-American Conference and one of the best kickers in the country this season. Came into this game tied for 6th in the country in field goal makes. You'd have to assume he'd go up a spot or 2 after today.
Also a 2-time MAC Special Teams winner of the week as well.
Week 1 and Week 3, he took those honors. Zach Long boots it out of the back of the end zone. Central Michigan will start on their own 25-yard line. The Chippewas offense will have 53 seconds to operate. Their kicker, not as big of a leg as Cleather. Cade Graham, his long in the year is 47 yards. His range is probably anything 50 and in.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier his long is only from 47, as you mentioned, Tyler. He's also 14 for 14 on extra points, 81.1% when in regards to making his field goals. Not the worst in the MAC, but it pales in comparison to Jackson Cleather.
Only missed 2 this year, 9 for 11.
Yep.
Chippewa 1st and 10 at the 25.
Bayless in the backfield hands it off here. That's going absolutely nowhere. Flying in for the tackle for Bowling Green to make that stop. That is going to be Preston Esto. First time we've really said his name this season I can remember. Safety, freshman from Mason, Ohio. Flew in like a missile to make that tackle, and that's going to be a loss of 3. 2nd and 13. Now just 38 seconds to go in this second quarter. Going to be hard for Central Michigan. We'll see if they just decide to run this clock out. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Could be a little bit of chess playing here by both head coaches as well. You never know.
Absolutely, Tyler. That's the interesting thing about the game of football. When it goes down below a minute, you never know what to expect in the final remaining seconds, whether it's in the fourth quarter or before halftime.
Central Michigan going to line up here with Guns N' Roses blaring over the speakers.
Paradise City, to be exact.
Townsend in the backfield to the right of Labus. Labus, actually, that is Flores going to run with it to the right side.
Quarterback keeper number 7, Angel Flores.
He's going to be taken down after a gain of a few.
Clock continues to roll here.
I think we may have had a timeout called by Eddie George. A lot of whistles. Bowling Green did take their second charge timeout. Eddie George set his arms up in the air like, why is that clock still running? So they will reset the clock. It is at 32 seconds. They're going to add 3 up to 35 seconds. So Bowling Green has a chance here if they can get the third down stop on 3rd and 8 to force Central. Oh, actually, they're going to raise it up 10 more seconds to 45 seconds. So they add 13 seconds onto the clock. Bowling Green's got a shot here. If they can get a third down stop, call their final timeout of the half, they can get the ball back with some time remaining on this clock to try to score a few more points. You can kind of feel the urgency from the Bowling Green sideline to get another crack at it, try to put a few more points up on this board before you go into halftime.
Absolutely, Tyler. But it's all really about managing your time well. Of course, as we see 45 seconds left on the clock, we're going to see how good Eddie George is at clock management here if Bowling Green does indeed get yet another chance with 3rd and 8 here.
Flores running to the right side. Flores going to get the first down.
Flores, the ball carrier.
Gets up
Brought down by Lampron.
to the 38-yard line. Gideon Lampron, ESPN in on the stop.
That's a first down.
A tent blowing over to the right of us. The wind's continuing to pick up here in Bowling Green. Going to be a handoff to the left side. That'll get Central Michigan past the 40. Townsend on the carry. Under 30 seconds to play in this first half.
And to the right of us, Tyler, the American flag flying, being blown as highly as you could possibly think of, as the wind has not slowed down here at all.
Central Michigan continuing to run out this clock. They have the chance to run it all the way down. Wind right now, 16 miles per hour, gust up to 26 miles per hour. And Central Michigan going to run the clock all the way down. So after one half of action on the gridiron, Central Michigan leading Bowling Green 17-6. We will send it back to the WBGU 88.1 FM studio for the halftime show with Nate Hinners, Adam Duffin, and Gavin Gill. Once again, after the first half, Central Michigan 17, Bowling Green 6. You are listening to BGSU Football right here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself, surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
BGSU men's soccer plays Drake in a must-win 4th Missouri Valley Conference game in Des Moines, Iowa on Saturday, October 18th at 8:30 p.m., seeking to remain undefeated against the Bulldogs. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com where you can find a recap of the match by Falcon Media Sports Network's Foster Rostai, along with additional content about the team and BGSU athletics.
Welcome into Falcon Media Sports Network's halftime show. The Falcons down 17-6 against the Central Michigan Chippewas here at the half. Adam, you know, last week we were in a similar situation here in studio. Falcons down, but yeah, we can talk more about that coming up here in a few. But first, what happened in that first half?
Bowling Green opened up the scoring with Jackson Cleather making a 43-yard field goal, and then that was the score at the end of the first quarter. Following that, the Central Michigan Chippewas had Angel Flores get a 1-yard rushing TD to make it 7-3 for Central Michigan. He followed that up with another 6-yard rushing touchdown to make it 14-3, and then Central Michigan had a 38-yard field goal to make it 17-3, and then right about with a minute left in the half, Jackson Cleather hit another field goal from 49 yards, so Central Michigan up 17-6 over the Falcons.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the game and what the Falcons maybe can do to come back. And, just more about what we can see in the second half. That's coming up right after this. You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network halftime coverage here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. Be the someone who gives their time. Be the someone who lends an ear. Be the someone who takes a step. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN, asking you to join the fight against sexual violence and volunteer in your community. Log on to RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org, to learn how you can be the someone.
This message brought to you by the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network and this station.
All right, welcome back into our Falcon Media Sports Network halftime show. In case you're just tuning in now to WBGU 88.1 FM. First off, should mention, in case you're just tuning in, there's a reason why we're here on WBGU today. The Falcon Radio studio currently covered in tarps after a bit of a flood today at the Clean Center. It was an exciting morning.
Yeah, definitely.
Very eventful.
Yeah, cleanup crew.
Yeah, they did a great job, though. They're
looking like they're doing a great job right now.
They're working out there. But yeah, Quentin Parker, professor here who discovered the flood, Dr. Bracken, and then, of course, Kenny from the Blues Breakfast letting us get into the studio so we could still do a broadcast today. Quick shout out to them, and thank you to them here at the half. All right, anyways, getting into our football coverage. The Falcons down against the Central Michigan Chippewas, 17-6. And what do you guys kind of see from that first half?
It just came down to key plays, really. If you look at the stat sheet, both teams are almost identical in how many plays they ran, first downs, rushing yards. Bowling Green is actually up in that category. But really, just the Lucian Anderson's interception and the failed fake punt for the Falcons is the reason why this is an 11-point difference right now.
Yeah, with Lucian, you can't even blame Lucian Anderson on that interception. It tipped off of his Cameron Petaway's hands. So I wouldn't put that on the blame. We did say earlier in our what we want to look out for is Anderson holding on to the ball, which I think he's done, or not holding on to the ball, but taking care of it, which I think he's done a very fair amount. I also did want to see them stretch the field a little bit more. What we did see is our two big plays are on the outside of the hashes. I think we should probably keep attacking the outside a little bit more just to stretch that field.
Yeah, especially that's something you saw, which is a little different. Drew Pine was really only able to have success in the middle of the field. It seems like Lucian Anderson is the opposite, where beyond those hashes, like you mentioned, he's more successful. And they did that on the final drive a little bit, getting it outside to Jaron Johnson and other receivers to set up that field goal before halftime.
One thing I am disappointed about is our rushing attack. We really haven't been what we thought. Central Michigan came in and we knew it was going to be an old school ground pound kind of game. Our rushing attack, we only have 25 yards so far in this half. So I want to see us producing a little bit more, getting Petaway back there a little bit more. Seeing Anderson just get free, let him go. Just let him more of those read options or just quarterback zones to the outside. I want to see that a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, only 4 yards per carry. It's just been not anything special. Central Michigan, 3.4 yards per carry, but they've come up with those big plays, especially on third down.
Yeah.
Bowling Green, 2 for 7. Central Michigan, 4 of 7. So that little difference on those big plays on third down to continue drives, Bowling Green has just been not as productive as Central Michigan.
Also, not a lot of trick plays so far this half.
Yeah, nothing really special.
Besides the punt, but...
Yeah, they the one bold thing they tried to do failed, and then Central Michigan didn't do anything with that drive. Easy field goal still, because it was so far back in Bowling Green territory.
Yeah, all right. Coming up, we have our player of the game watch discussion. We'll preview the second half, as well as tell you what's going on around the MAC. Keep it here. You're listening to Falcon Media Sports Network halftime coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces weekly short-form and long-form social media pieces for in-season sports all year long. Make sure to check out at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and at BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to view the content.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network halftime coverage. The Falcons down here at the half, 17-6. And Adam and Gavin, what are you guys kind of looking for our Falcon Media Sports Network player of the game?
I'm definitely thinking Johnson, especially with those 2 outside catches beyond the hashes. I mean, he has 25 yards on 3 receptions. I definitely think he's going to produce a little bit more.
Yeah, it's been a weird game so far for the offense. I think Jaron Johnson is definitely someone you can think of. Cameron Petaway has had a solid day on the ground, 8 carries for 41 yards, so solid game for him. And then I guess Jackson Cleather as well. He's made 2 kicks from over 40 yards. Bowling Green, if they're going to win the game, though, they can't kick as many field goals, so I don't think it will be him, but he's definitely done his part as well. So either Jaron Johnson or Cameron Petaway is the offensive guys to focus on.
Yeah. All right, taking a look now at what's going on around the MAC here. So, of course, Bowling Green down against Central Michigan, 17-6. But Eastern Michigan and Miami of Ohio, they also had a noon start today. And with 31 seconds left in the second quarter for them, Miami is up 21-7 in that game, by the way, over in Miami. Coming up here at 2 o'clock today, just in about a half hour or so, got Kent State up at Toledo. 2:30 Buffalo at UMass, 3:30 Akron at Ball State, and also at 3:30 Northern Illinois at Ohio. So some action continuing throughout the day later on, probably as soon as we start to wrap things up. Akron, Ball State, Northern Illinois, and Ohio will get underway. So but we'll keep you guys updated on that Kent State Toledo when that gets started. And then also that Eastern Michigan and Miami game. Just getting ready to go into the half now for them. Again, though, Miami up 21-7. Now getting back into our game we have here going on in Bowling Green. What are you guys kind of looking forward to for the second half?
I think for Bowling Green, they need to stop Angel Flores from being able to run outside the pocket. If you want to mention that, Gavin.
Yeah, I mean, 2 rushing touchdowns already. We've seen more of Angel Flores than Joe Labris.
Yeah.
Which we brought up earlier. I feel like, but it's more of that rushing attack that he's been doing. He's completed he's 1 for 1 right now in passing with 1 yard on the ground or like in the air. So he's gonna be running the ball. We have to stop that rushing attack.
Yeah, Bowling Green, it's also they've done a good job of stopping the run. It's just been when their defense has been on the field a lot when the offense has made these mistakes. So then occasionally there has been a big run or those third down plays, and also silly penalties on the defense. They had to stop it. They stopped them at the 1. It would have been 4th and goal, but they had a defender line up offside, so it restarted the play, 3rd and goal from not even the half-yard line. So it led to an easy quarterback sneak for Angel Flores.
And even the first touchdown for Angel Flores, it was a interception that they got down to the 1 yard line and he ran it right in.
It's too easy. Bowling Green is setting up Central Michigan and making it too easy for them.
Yeah, all right, coming up, as we continue on with our Falcon Media Sports Network halftime show, we'll continue discussing the game, what's going on out at the Doit. Right now, though, let's, kind of relive what went on last Saturday with 60 seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Bowling Green football overcame a 21-0 deficit against Toledo this past Saturday and defeated the Rockets by a final score of 28-23. I'm really proud of our boys, George said. It's just how we handle adversity. BG's running back Cameron Petaway put the Orange and Brown on the board by a 45-yard house call to make it a 21-7 lead. Petaway also caught a 73-yard touchdown pass from Bowling Green receiver R.J. Garcia to tie the game at 21. And later, running back Chris McMillan put the Orange and Brown on top for good at 28-21. BGSU ultimately won the Battle of I-75 by winning 28-23. The victory marked the biggest comeback in program history. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful they saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network halftime coverage here on this beautiful Saturday in Bowling Green. Currently, we are sitting at 79 degrees right now. You know, sunny weather right now. Not going to be sticking along too much longer, though. A chance of showers and thunderstorms coming up today around 5 o'clock, and those showers continuing into tonight and tomorrow. So, yeah, you know, nice at least today for right now.
It is a bit windy outside, as Tyler did mention on the broadcast earlier today.
Yeah, gusts as high as 29 miles per hour. So
hasn't affected Cleather yet, so that's good. That's a good thing.
Not yet. I mean, you can't hear it in our broadcast. At least I know sometimes when they're out at the baseball stadium, it sounds like they're in like a tornado or something. But at least today it doesn't sound like that. All right, going on to conference standings right now, Gavin.
So right now, Western Michigan is currently at the top of the conference at 3-0. Buffalo is at 2-0. Miami of Ohio, who is currently playing EMU, Eastern Michigan, is also 2-0. Where Ball State, Ohio, BG, Central Michigan, and Kent are all 1-1. This Central Michigan game has a lot of implications for that MAC standing, with us and Central Michigan being tied for fourth right now.
Yeah, the MAC, with the overall standings and the conference standings, it's almost the closest in college football. The best team by record is Western Michigan at 4-3, because all these teams, they play tough out-of-conference schedules, traveling to bigger schools, and then when they face each other, there's a lot of battles, there's a lot of upsets, like the win for BG last week against Toledo.
Well, even Western Michigan against Toledo.
Yeah, and then sometimes there's upsets. When Ball State beat Ohio a couple weeks ago, not many people expected that one, and it happened regardless. So it's just a crazy conference a lot of the time, and you're seeing it again this year.
We're going to get into that season where we're just going to start tearing each other apart. And we're at that second half where you will know who is at the top of the MAC. And with Western Michigan being 3-0 right now, it's setting up pretty good. And so everybody's going to be fighting for that second spot. And BG does play Buffalo in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now they play Buffalo. That's going to be a big game. They also face Kent State, who isn't as much of a threat for them towards the conference. But yet Bowling Green has the easier part, if you think about it. If they do manage to come back against Central Michigan, and if they're able to handle Buffalo, they face Akron, UMass, Kent State, a lot of teams that people...
Very winnable games.
Yeah, even though it's the MAC, a lot of people would say you should win those games. You should be favored, especially they're at home for a couple of those. Not the UMass game, I know, but yeah, Bowling Green... they gotta, if they come back here, they're putting themselves in a really good spot for the rest of the season.
Especially with that tight game over at for Miami and EMU. I mean, it's only a touchdown difference. If EMU can find a way to beat Miami, then Miami drops down. If we beat Central Michigan, we take care of business today. We jump right back into that 3 or 2 spot. I mean, Buffalo's got the number 2 spot locked down, but we jump into that 2 spot right above Miami.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Just every sport there is with the conference and how it goes throughout the season. You see it all the time where a team the year before will be towards the bottom and jump back up top. It's always unpredictable, especially injuries happen. Right now, Bowling Green, they got a backup quarterback, found a way to win a rivalry game last week, trying to fight back this week. It's so difficult to predict.
It's very difficult. I mean, this is UMass's first year in the MAC, and they are 0-6 and 0-2 in conference. Where are they going to stand next year? It's very hard to predict. This year, they're having a very tough time in the MAC.
And especially, too, if you think Bowling Green, if they're in a position where the final week of the season matters, it's against UMass.
It's against UMass. It's the MAC, but I would say easy win.
You would say easy because currently I saw UMass is ranked the worst team in the country by the metrics and the experts. They are ranked the worst team. Kent State is...
Well, they are 0-6.
Yeah, which is fair. And other people rank Kent State among that lower tier, almost right next to UMass. So games like that you got to take care of. But then you also have to beat the big dogs in the conference in Central Michigan and Buffalo.
Yes.
Yeah, and taking a look at a few more Falcon athletic things going on, or athletic events going on today. Swim and dive in action today at 1 o'clock, going on right now over at Cooper Pool here in Bowling Green. We'll have coverage of that with a recap on Falcon Media Sports Network or bgfalconmedia.com. After that is over, that men's soccer in action tonight over in Iowa. We will not be able to have a broadcast because it is in Iowa, but we will have a recap of it on bgfalconmedia.com. Going on tomorrow, though, some women's soccer, and that will be on the WBGU PBS YouTube channel. That's going on at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And then going on Monday and Tuesday, some women's golf. So, yeah, there's a check of your Falcon athletics for the next few days. By the way, don't forget to tune in tomorrow night to WBGU 88.1 FM. The station we're on right now, for the Zig Zone. Of course, recapping today's football game as well as what else is going on in Falcon athletics. Yeah, you can tune into that going on tomorrow afternoon from 4 to 6 here on WBGU 88.1 FM. You don't even have to change your dial this weekend. All right, let's take one more short commercial break right now, and we'll be back with coverage from Carter and Tyler over at the Doit. You are listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU Women's Tennis travels to the University of Illinois in Champaign and Urbana, Illinois, where top individuals will compete in the ITA Regionals on Thursday, October 16th through Tuesday, October 21st. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the event and content about the women's tennis team and all things BGSU athletics by Falcon Media Sports Network members.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network football coverage here on WBGU 88.1 FM. At the end of the first half, Bowling Green down against Central Michigan 17-6. Adam and Gavin, thanks for hanging out with me in studio for the halftime show. We'll be back with you guys following the conclusion of the game for our Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show. But right now, it's time to hand things on out to the Doit. Hand things back on out to the Doit, should I say, with Tyler and Carter as they get ready to call the second half. Hey guys, how's it going out there?
Going good, Nate. Thank you, guys. You guys did a great job with the pregame and halftime show. Like you said, make sure to stay around for the postgame show. Back underway here at the Doit. Zach Long kicks it away. It's going to be a fair caught at the 5-yard line. Central Michigan will start off at their own 25. CMU leading Bowling Green by 11 points, 17-6 to begin this second half. Tyler Kamlitz alongside Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. It's been an interesting one so far. A lot of running by these two teams. 44 rushing attempts combined compared to just 12 passing attempts by the two teams.
Yeah, absolutely, Tyler. And for Bowling Green going out of the second half, you really have to set the tone early with this defense. You know, they preached about going into the half, it's always 0-0, having that mentality of trying to get back out and get this game back under control if you're Bowling Green.
Labus going to hand it off here to Biggins. He's trying to find a way out of those tackles. Cannot. He is taken down.
Number 38, Dier Kelly.
Dier Kelly in there, along with David Afogo. Just a gain of 1 yard by Nabri Biggins. Biggins, a guy who actually made a position change to running back recently, went from defensive back to running back in the spring of last year. Also big on TikTok, over 3,000 followers. Good friends with Finn Hogan from Bowling Green, who went to Central Michigan. They have made multiple videos together over the years. Going to be kept up the middle here. by Labus. He will get the first down and get near the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 36. A big run by Joe Labus for the first down for Central Michigan up the middle.
Yeah, it's one thing that we've seen with this Chippewa's offense so far is both Labus and Flores being able to run the ball really, really well. Both of them have wheels to them, so definitely something that the CMU team has done really well today.
Eddie George in the weekly press conference noted that both of them can run and that he hadn't really found out their tendencies on when they use each quarterback yet. Not really sure if they figured that out at all throughout this game. Labus completes a pass to the left side to Tommy McIntosh. First time we've called McIntosh's name here today. Second season at Central Michigan. Spent 2 years at Wisconsin prior. 2 games with 50-plus receiving yards for him. First catch of the day for McIntosh there. Goes for 9 yards, 2nd and 1. Khalil Pascal in on the tackle.
And just his and for McIntosh, it's just his 12th reception of the year so far.
Labus with Biggins to his right. A motion from the left side, 2 wideouts to the left. Interesting snap. Labus launches deep down the left side. 50-50 ball for McIntosh. He wants a flag, does not get it.
There is a flag on the side of Central Michigan of the offensive line. Looked like one of their linemen may have possibly jumped by chance.
It was Jalen McClendon in coverage. It's going to be offsides by David Afogo for Bowling Green. Call coming from today's official, Rick Warren.
I stand corrected on that call, Tyler.
That was David Middleton, the line judge, making that call with the flag. So now 1st and 10 for Central Michigan on the 50-yard line at midfield. 13 minutes to play in the third quarter, 17-6 Central Michigan. Labus going to hand it off up the middle to Biggins. He keeps fighting for a few more, still going. Finally a whistle is called. We'll see where they spot him. The 2 officials 2 yards apart currently.
Looks to be Flores and Townsend both checking into the Chippewa's offense now.
They're going to give him a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Wind continuing to pick up here at the Deutsch. You can probably hear it through our headsets.
It's picked up rapidly as time has passed along.
Labus out of the game, Flores in at quarterback. Flores going to keep it himself. He'll push for a few more. That'll move the chains as he picks up the first down. MJ Cannon in on the tackle for Bowling Green.
First down, Chippewa.
And Central Michigan just keeps running the ball. Central Michigan now 26 rushing attempts to 5 pass attempts. Talked about how their head coach came from Army West Point. They run a military-style offense. They pound the rock on the ground. Don't really care to pass it through the air that much if they don't have to. Labus back in the game. Gets a motion from the right side. Gonna hand it off up the middle to Townsend. Townsend breaks open to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Townsend going towards the pylon. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds a few yards before. Jalen McClendon on the tackle. They will mark him at the 2-yard line. What a run by Brock Townsend.
And you mentioned, Tyler, with just, the former Army connections and how disciplined this offense is. You look at the offensive line and just the way they've been able to block. We've hardly seen them jump a little bit today. Of course, there's been a few false start penalties for them, but also they remain disciplined throughout the entire time. And big runs, like we just saw with Townsend, are the reason why they are so disciplined in the first place. Their ability to create holes and separation.
Flag out in the end zone before a snap. It was Flores under center. A penalty on a Bowling Green assistant coach. Did not specify who. Bowling Green had a sideline warning before earlier in the first half. Eddie George going to seek an explanation. We also have delay of game on the offense. What is going on here in Bowling Green?
Just a little bizarre, if you will, Tyler. Just this whole situation in this goal line, red zone area, but Central Michigan backing up, and they still have yet to specify who exactly that was, and we probably won't get an answer until later on.
It was an unsportsmanlike conduct on a Bowling Green assistant coach. The ball was on the 1 yard line, has now been moved back to the 3 yard line.
First and goal for Central Michigan at the 3.
Flores with Townsend to his right. Flores going to keep it to the right side. Now moves to his left side, out of danger, and Flores runs it in untouched. Flores trying to push it in behind his blockers on the right side. Found no hole there, cut it back to the left side up the middle with no contest from the Bowling Green defense. And he finds pay dirt. Central Michigan 23, Bowling Green 6, a point after coming.
Yeah, we saw Flores, his second rushing touchdown of the day, but we've seen him go off to that right side 2 times already, but he saw that area was quickly collapsing, had enough time to recover, and was able to go back to the left and have a big, wide open spot to get into the end zone.
The extra point is up. The extra point is good by Cade Graham, 24-6. Central Michigan leads Bowling Green. Last week, the Falcons had to come back from 21 down. This week, they are 18 down with 10:55 to go in the third quarter. We'll see if they can begin about a comeback when we come back from this media timeout. Once again, Central Michigan 24, Bowling Green 6. You're listening to BGSU Football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU men's soccer plays Drake in a must-win 4th Missouri Valley Conference game in Des Moines, Iowa on Saturday, October 18th at 8:30 p.m., seeking to remain undefeated against the Bulldogs. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com where you can find a recap of the match by Falcon Media Sports Network's Foster Rosti, along with additional content about the team and BGSU athletics.
Before I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, I thought all the people that I knew who didn't drink were self-righteous people, holier than thou. So it never occurred to me that Alcoholics Anonymous was filled with people who had drank like I did, and now were the same people that I used to drink with. The same people that I liked, only now they weren't drinking. They were people just like me who had been drinking for a long time and found out that it didn't work for them anymore.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
Cameron Petaway is this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week. The redshirt freshman had 2 receptions for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns against Toledo in the Battle of I-75. Petaway leads the country with 35.1 yards per kick return. He is number 1 all-time at BGSU since 1995 with 721 all-purpose yards through the first games of his career. Against Toledo, he recorded a 73-yard receiving touchdown to tie the game up 21-21. Head coach Eddie George said Cam has come on big time for us. You could see his explosiveness and what he brings to the table. This has been this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
set to kick off for Central.
24-6, Central Michigan's lead over Bowling Green. Falcons going to need another big comeback here in front of a big crowd at the Doit. We'll see if they have any magic left. Eddie George wanted to continue the celebration from last week over to this week, but this crowd has been silenced by the Central Michigan run game and their stifling defense. Kick goes out of the back of the end zone. Bowling Green will start off at their own 25. We will see what Lucian Harrison III can get going for this offense. Today, Lucian just 5 for 8, 44 yards and an interception. 3 carries for 33 yards. Cameron Petaway is your leading rusher. 8 attempts for a net of 41 yards. And I should say Lucian has gained 33. His net is 25. No wide receivers with a catch today. Tight end Jiren Johnson, 3 receptions for 25 yards. Running back Canaris Roberts, 2 catches for 19. Lucian hands it off to Petaway. Petaway up the middle, breaking some tackles, gets past the 30. They will mark him down at the 32. A gain of 7 by Cameron Petaway.
This is where you got to get the run and pass game going. Have a bag of mixed tricks to throw this defense off their heels a little bit. You know, Lucian Anderson not really having many passing attempts today, but now will be a good time to really start to get that going and throw the CMU defense off.
2nd and 3 on their own 32. 10.5 to play in the third. Lucian is going to be a quarterback keeper to the left side. He will be taken down at the 30.
Tripped up on the play by number 12, Jordan
Kwiatkowski, who had the interception in the first half, makes the tackle of Lucian Anderson the third. A loss of 2. 3rd and 4 for the Falcons. A big third down for Bowling Green. 3 wideouts to the right. Jiren Johnson motions, goes back out to the right side. Lucian rolls out to his right side, throws it up the middle to Allen Middleton. He secures the catch right at the marker. Are they going to say he's just short? They will. They're going to say he's about a half a yard short at the 34.5-yard line.
Middleton's a guy that we have not really talked a whole lot about on this Bowling Green offense. Only 4 receptions and 19 yards going into this game. That's just his 5th of the year.
First reception by a wide receiver today. Bowling Green on 4th and 1, lining up on offense to go for it. Leo Kemp, the fullback, out wide left. He motions. It's going to be a handoff up the middle to Markel Porter. Did he get it? Central Michigan thinks they stopped him, and Central Michigan did get the stop. Bowling Green does not convert on 4th down. Central Michigan ball on Bowling Green's 32-yard line.
And that is the second 4th down conversion from the Falcons today they are not able to get. We saw earlier in the first half the John Henderson fake punt just 2 yards short. Now, this time it's a 1 yard short.
Why was Markel Porter in the game for the carry instead of Cameron Petaway or Chris McMillan? That is an interesting decision by head coach Eddie George and offensive coordinator Travis Partridge. Either way, Bowling Green doesn't get it. Joe Labus under center, hands it off to Townsend. He's going to be wrapped up pretty quickly.
Wrapped up by Gideon Lampron. We mentioned how Lampron,
second half player,
mainly a second half player. First impact that he's really made today so far. A few assisted tackles earlier in the first half, but his first main one of the afternoon.
Labus with Townsend to his left in the backfield. Tyson Davis, Tommy McIntosh out wide right. Labus going to keep it to the left side, avoiding some tacklers. He's going to push ahead for a few yards. That was Angel Flores, correction, not Labus. Flying in
was Isaiah Tomlinson right there, the defensive end who made the big play last week against Tommy Gleason, had that fumble recovery, what thought was a fumble recovery in the end zone, but set up the following Chris McMillan rushing touchdown to give Bowling Green the game-winning score.
Jaquan Bostic, the safety, also came in from the right side, almost wrapped him up for a loss, couldn't secure the tackle. Flores, Townsend to his right, 3 wideouts to his right, tight end motions closer to the line. Flores going to keep it, moving to his right, makes a tackler miss, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds after a gain of a few.
Lampron was the first to jump on top of him again. Once again, Gideon Lampron showing why he is a second half contributor to this Bowling Green defense.
Had a one-on-one matchup with MJ Cannon in the open field. Did a little Chris Berman, whoop, to the left, made a miss. Brings up a 4th and 12 from the 29-yard line. It's going to be a field goal attempt by Cade Graham. This will be a 47-yard attempt for Graham.
Matching up against his longest of the year.
It would indeed. Windy day at Bowling Green. Graham's kick is up. Graham's kick is good. Cade Graham matches his season long of 47 yards. Central Michigan leads 27-6 for the second straight week. Bowling Green faces a 21-point deficit at home. 7:09 to play in the third quarter. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM. On August 28th, 2025, BGSU football running back Cameron Petaway returned a kickoff 97 yards for a touchdown on the first play of the season against Lafayette. The second straight year, the Falcons found pay dirt on the first play of the campaign. Falcon Media Sports Network Sean Connolly had the call of the moment on Falcon Radio.
Dumont kicks it away, and we are underway in the 2025 football season, and it will be returned. Looks like he's got an opening, and will we see it again? There he goes. He's at the 50. There he goes for the second straight year. He will be gone. 2 years in a row, Cameron Petaway. Touchdown Falcons. Unbelievable.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you. I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the
27 for Central Michigan, 6 for Bowling Green. 7:09 left to play at the Doit. Carter, what are your thoughts on this one so far?
Well, it's definitely been a one-sided affair for majority of the first and so far second half. Bowling Green just have no sign of light to this team so far, but there's always one thing to look at with this Falcons team. It's that they've faced harder situations before, but just a lot of self-inflicted errors that have kept this game from being a lot closer than it has been.
Flag on the kickoff that flew out of the back of the end zone. Does appear that there's a Central Michigan player also down and injured. Bowling Green has had control. Leo Kemp tagged with a penalty after the play, but Bowling Green has really controlled this matchup in recent years. They've won 4 of the past 5 against Central Michigan, 9 of the past 12, 2 in a row. They have not defeated the Chippewas at home here at the Doit since their homecoming game in 2003. 2 straight losses at home to Central Michigan. Chippewas right now 22 minutes away from making it 3 straight home losses to CMU.
Yeah, and Bowling Green undefeated at home going into this game, as well as staying on the home topic. So this will definitely be a tough pill to swallow if it continues to go the way it has been going so far.
Chris McMillan to the left of Lucian. Gyron motions to the left side. Lucian drops back, looking to throw, trying to dump it off to McMillan. Errant throw to Chris McMillan, thrown behind him. Looks like Lucian Aronson III heard some footsteps coming and just fired that one away, trying to get it off, and it's incomplete.
Looks like he was trying to
rush throw.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like he was trying to wait a little bit to see if someone could get open downfield, which is something that this Bowling Green offense has not really done so far today is try to go down the field with passing attempts. So missed opportunity there.
Petaway to the right. Kadaris Roberts to the left of Lucian. Lucian going to keep it. Now pitch it to R.J. Garcia. End around to R.J. Garcia the second. He's at the 20, 25, 30. Pushes it up to the 35-yard line. A nice run by R.J. Garcia the second on the end around.
Yeah, definitely a great play, and almost was a botched play at first. I believe it was Michael Heldman again breaking through and almost stuffing that play from even transpiring to what it was. So great job from the Falcon offense being a little bit, hurry up a little bit, and just overall great play from them.
Lucian drops back, looking down deep, airs it out for Finn Hogan, does not get it, overthrown, but there is a laundry on the field.
Ricard and Carroll on the coverage.
Ricard and Carroll on the coverage. That's Elijah Ricard, the free safety, and Kalen Carroll, the cornerback, in coverage for Central Michigan. Ricard, a College Football Network All-MAC honorable mention last season, actually received an offer from Bowling Green in high school.
And it was Carroll on the pass interference. You saw Finn Hogan going down that sideline, immediately holding his arms up in the air.
How about this? Ricard and Carroll both received offers from Bowling Green in high school. The intended wide receiver was Finn Hogan, who began his career at Central Michigan. Lucian Anderson III looking to throw, now scrambles out to the right side at the 50, and he dives. They're going to mark him at the 52-yard line. A nice little scramble by Lucian Anderson III.
Definitely, we mentioned before, Lucian is definitely a running QB. He definitely has the wheels on him. Nice little pickup of what is 8 yards. So great job
Second and 2
Lucian.
On the 48 of Central Michigan. Going to be a handoff. Not going far, and there is a flag after the play. My, oh my, so many penalties after plays here today.
And a Chippewa's defender looked like he was pushed down immediately after the whistle was blown.
If Bowling Green does go on to lose this game, I can guarantee you that Eddie George will talk about how undisciplined his team was in the game, as it's an unsportsmanlike conduct on Bowling Green, makes it third down. Ball is going to get moved back as well. So it goes from a 2nd and 2 on Central Michigan's 48-yard line, or on Bowling Green's 48-yard line, to a third, and looks like it's going to be 12 for the Falcons. 3rd and 16 for the Falcons on their own 38. Lucian emptying the backfield. He's going to be hit and taken down, and that once again is Michael Heldman in the backfield, his 2nd sack of the game. He has 6.5 sacks on the season. He's been a game wrecker all day long, and he forces Bowling Green to punt down by 21 with 5.5 to play in the third quarter.
Tyler, please excuse the expression on my face. I'm just still bizarre at that unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, there was absolutely no reason at all to do that. That was completely unnecessary, and now it gets you into a punting situation once again.
John Henderson's punt is away. It goes down to taking a nice Bowling Green roll. Bounced at the 35. It'll go to the 30. Central Michigan will start from there. 4:57 to go in the third quarter. Chippewa's ball. They lead Bowling Green 27-6 here at the Doit. You're listening to Bowling Green State University football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Unlike other local sources, Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media will never charge a paywall to view our content. However, if you are looking to support student media, you can donate at the bottom of our stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
What kind of help does the IRS have for identity theft victims?
If you suspect you're a victim of tax-related identity theft, Go to irs.gov/identity theft to learn how to prevent potential refund fraud and protect your tax account. At the IRS, combating tax-related identity theft is a top priority, and we are committed to prevention, detection, and assisting victims. And we're working with law enforcement to catch the criminals. For more info, go to irs.gov/identity theft to learn what the IRS is doing to help protect you.
AA made all the difference in my life. I noticed that most of the goals I had as a kid were slipping by. I didn't feel like the person I hoped to be. After all those years of drinking, I really didn't know myself. When I was out there drinking, I was always looking for the next great party to make me feel all right. With AA, I found a better way of life. And I feel good in my everyday life, even without a drink in my hand.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
Start your day with WBGU-FM and Early Bird Oldies. Tune in to Northwest Ohio's community radio station weekdays from 4 to 6 a.m. for classic hit music from decades past. Enjoy all the golden oldies you remember and stick around for local community news and entertainment with The Morning Show. Early Bird Oldies, broadcast weekdays from 4 to 6 a.m. on Northwest Ohio's community radio station, WBGU 88.1 FM.
27-6, Central Michigan's lead over Bowling Green, 4:57 to play in the third quarter. Once again, we'd like to give a huge shout out to the Blues Breakfast. Don, Kenny, and Deb. Show usually runs from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. They were gracious enough to give us the remaining part of their time for today's show due to the circumstances that we cannot control in the Falcon Radio studio at the Kulin Center. So make sure to tune into them. They have a great show, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WBGU 88.1 FM. Back underway, it's a big run for Central Michigan. Barreling his way down 4 yards is Townsend. He's going to move the pile and move the chains for Central Michigan. They continue to pound the rock against this Bowling Green defense, who has not had really any answers for it all game long.
And overall, altogether so far, Central Michigan 143-yard rushing compared to Bowling Green's 113. So a lot of ground game we've seen today, Tyler, exactly as advertised.
Central Michigan averages 188.5 rushing yards per game. Bowling Green only gives up 140 a game. Central Michigan's already surpassed that total against the Falcons defense. Handoff once again, this time to Trey Cornist. Not going that far, but again, flags on the field. I can count 3 of them, one of them flying late. We'll see what this is. Bowling Green so far, 11 penalties for 92 yards. 6 penalties for 44 yards for Central Michigan. Bowling Green coming into this game, the third most penalized team in the conference. 6.5 penalties per game for 53.2 yards. It's been a lot of undiscipline by the Falcons here today.
And that's something Coach George said about in postgame last week against the win against Toledo. He said he saw the team grow up a lot, but
2 fouls, both against the offense.
5 players in the backfield. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 77.
So it is illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield. And then it is unsportsmanlike conduct for Central Michigan. And that they announced 77, who was not a starter. They corrected it to 76. So that is Martin Quivisto, who is the right tackle for CMU. Also had to start against Bowling Green in their matchup last season. So it'll be a 1st and 30 for Central Michigan on their own 24. Flores going to run with it up to the 30-yard line.
Flores, the ball carrier.
It'll make it about 2nd and 24.
Going back to your point earlier, Tyler, we mentioned Eddie George talking about it post game about he saw the team grow up. But if you ask both you and me, we've seen this team get a little bit younger. We've seen a lot of unnecessary personal fouls that don't need to happen, shooting yourselves in the foot with self-inflicted wounds like that. It's not growing up.
Low snap handled by Flores, running to the right 30, 35, up to the 39-yard line for Angel Flores. And just like that, Central Michigan, after a 1st and 30, is almost back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be, a 3rd and 15 for the Chippewas. Tough hole to put yourself in, a 1st and 30. Usually not much going to come out of that. We'll see if they can create some magic on this 3rd down play. But this would be a perfect opportunity for the Bowling Green defense to come up with a huge stop. Have not called Gideon Lampron's name much. Have not called MJ Cannon's name much. Has not really been a standout defensive player for Bowling Green, as yet another flag on the field. This time it is on Central Michigan. It is a false start on Dayson Smith, the redshirt freshman left guard. Heavyweight wrestling state qualifier in high school. A lot of power at the left guard position. Jumped a little early there. A 3rd and 20 for Central Michigan upcoming as the wind continues to howl in Bowling Green. Angel Flores back there. Napkin blows to his right side. He's going to hand it off to Biggins up the middle. Biggins gets it past the 40-yard line. Still going to be nearly 5 yards short of the initial line of scrimmage.
You were just talking about, Tyler, how this would be a big stop for this Bowling Green defense. Able to get it done so far. Of course, still 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Not the longest amount of time in the world, but we have seen crazier things happen with this Falcon squad.
4th and 13, Central Michigan will punt it away from their own 41. Declan Dooley will punt it. Brennan Ridley will be back to return for Bowling Green. Nothing really going in the special teams department outside of Jackson Cleather today. See what Ridley can do. He's going to let this one go. Wind pushes it back to the end zone. Bowling Green will start off at their 25-yard line. We hit a media timeout. Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6. 1:33 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Falcons with their backs up against the wall. Time as their enemy. We'll see what they can do when we come back. You're listening to BGSU Football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On February 21st, 2025, BGSU men's basketball upset Toledo at Savage Arena for the first time since 2021, defeating the Rockets 69-68. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call of the game-winning moment on Falcon Radio.
Johnson inbounds to Campbell. They do not foul. Bowling Green marches into Savage Arena, exacts revenge on the Toledo Rockets, and gets a much-needed conference victory over their arch rivals, defeating Toledo 69-68. What an improbable win for the Bowling Green Falcons.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Start your day with WBGU FM and Early Bird Oldies. Tune in to Northwest Ohio's community radio station weekdays from 4 to 6 a.m. for classic hit music from decades past. Enjoy all the golden oldies you remember and stick around for local community news and entertainment with The Morning Show. Early Bird Oldies, broadcast weekdays from 4 to 6 a.m. on Northwest Ohio's community radio station, WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media takes pictures for nearly all BGSU and Bowling Green related events throughout the year. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to check out thousands of photos and all the content.
Second straight week, Bowling Green has faced a 21-point deficit. They have a lot of work to do. It's going to need to be an elite 3 phases of play among offense, defense, and special teams for the Falcons if they want to steal this one from the grip of Central Michigan, who has really dominated Bowling Green today. Lucian Anderson III drops back, looking to his right, looking to his left, now scrambling to his right. Throws it out of bounds. That one over the head of R.J. Garcia the second. Nothing going on that play. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
Just offensive line as well for the Falcons, too. Not really giving Lucian enough time to really get settled and make those throws, make those quick passes.
6 for 11 for 47 yards and 1 interception for Lucian Anderson III.
And has also been sacked twice on the day as well. One of them from Michael Heldman as well. Big cornerstone for Central Michigan.
6 carries for 26 yards. Anderson throws up the middle, complete to Jiren Johnson. Johnson going to be stopped 1 yard shy of the first down, up to the 29-yard line.
I believe that may have been Johnson's 2nd reception of the afternoon so far.
It'll be his third for
excuse me.
25 yards. 3rd and 2. Lucian drops back, looks to his left, complete. I believe that was to Petaway. It was. Petaway gets the first down for Bowling Green. The chains will move along the sideline. Falcons up to their own 33. 45 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. They trail 27-6. Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining. 2 wideouts to the right side. Petaway to the left side of Lucian in the backfield. Anderson gets it off. It is complete up the middle to Jiren Johnson, and he is hit hard after he catches it. Takes a second to get up. Appears that he is okay, just a little shaken up initially. Got kind of sandwiched by 2 defenders from Central Michigan.
Yeah, when you look at Jiren Johnson, 6 foot. Just a big shot overall on that play as well.
Johnson 6'4", 235.
Thank you, Tyler.
From Gonzales, Louisiana, past 5 seasons at Texas Southern. Previous play is under review for targeting. Interesting one. Have not seen a replay of it. We'll see what the officials see as we step away. 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Did you know Falcon Media Sports Network has video highlights of BGSU athletic events? To see all the moments from your favorite BGSU teams and athletes, head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel or view them on bgfalconmedia.com.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure, like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Childhood cancer it's a long road. It's hard, but St. Jude has gotten us through it. St. Jude has hope that you have a chance at life. And it goes such a long way for every child diagnosed with cancer because everything that's learned is shared all over the world. It's awesome.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
No targeting on the play, as it will be 2nd and 8 for Bowling Green. Lucian Anderson in the backfield. Kadarius Roberts to his right. He's going to swing it out to the right side to Kadarius Roberts. He'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 43-yard line.
pushed out of bounds by number 6.
Looks like he'll once again be short.
Game's starting to get underway, I'm sure. Nate, Adam, and Gavin will have more updates. But early on in the first quarter, Kent State still with the ball. 10-0 lead over Toledo in Toledo at the Glass Bowl. Something to keep an eye on as we have reached the end of 3 quarters here at the Doit. After 3 quarters, it's Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6. The Falcons will have to try to make up a 21-point deficit in 15 minutes. You're listening to BGSU Football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome. Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Head coach Tanner Barton and undefeated Bowling Green women's swim and dive races against Miami of Ohio in BG's Cooper Pool on Saturday, October 18th at 1 p.m. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the event by Falcon Media Sports Network's Austin Roos and for additional information on BGSU's athletics.
Hey everyone, Producer Dada here, reminding you to catch Family Radio right here on WBGU 88.1 FM every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. That's 2 full hours of music, talk, and entertainment for the whole family.
Family Radio 88.1. Go Falcons!
Don't miss Family Radio every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m.
WBGU HD1. Bowling Green, Ohio.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU Student Media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com. "15 minutes remaining at Dwight L. Perry Stadium, Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6. Tyler Cavlitz alongside Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Nate Hinners, Adam Duffin, and Gavin Gill back in the studio at the Kulin Center. Bowling Green, their toughest task this season. 21-point deficit for the second straight week. This time they have just 15 minutes to make it up.
Going to be easier said than done, Tyler, but we've seen crazier things happen before.
We indeed have, especially in college football. Anything can happen in this game. Bowling Green will have a 3rd and 1. They'll now be going right to left for the rest of this game. Central Michigan left to right across the field in your radio dial. It's going to be a handoff up the middle to Chris McMillan. He will push ahead for the first down and get to the 45-yard line. And now time is crucial. That is what we will have to pay attention to for the rest of this game. Can Bowling Green beat the clock? First of all, they need to find the end zone at least once to get something going.
Absolutely, Tyler.
Have not done that today. 2 Jackson Cleather field goals for them. Lucian Ball is tipped on the pass. It's picked off. It's picked off by Jayon Jackson for Central Michigan. The Chippewas pick off Lucian Anderson III for the second time today. And it is a MAC leading 9 interceptions this season for CMU.
And it was almost the exact same way the first interception from Lucian Anderson happened. Tipped ball in the air. It's theirs for anybody's taking, and it just so happened to land into the arms of the white and maroon and yellow for CMU. Tough break for Lucian Anderson.
I believe that was Jiren Johnson over the middle that he was targeting. Very eerily similar to the pass to Cameron Petaway in the first half. They got picked off nearly the same exact way. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, nothing going. Love the dedication from Joe Labus on that handoff. Still went with his full throwing motion, tried to trick the Bowling Green defense. They were not fooled.
I believe that may have been Trey Cornist on the carry as well. Another key, crucial point to this Central Michigan run game. 49 carries for 211 yards going into this game, averaging 4.3 a carry.
How about Jayon Jackson, too? Just one of 5 regular freshman starting cornerbacks in the nation last season. Was named a College Football Network third-team All-MAC selection. Comes up with a big interception in the fourth quarter against Bowling Green. Handoff to Cornist once again. Tries to get the corner to the left side. Not much going. Keon Washington on the stop for the Falcons.
And Keon Washington got to Cornist in a hurry. Quickly went to the legs and said, "Not so fast, my friend," and was able to get a stop right there. Another third and long situation coming up for Central Michigan.
3rd and 12 for the Chippewas. Ball on Bowling Green's 38-yard line after the second interception of the game by Lucian Anderson III. He has really struggled today. 10 for 16, 69 yards, 2 interceptions. Handoff up the middle to Townsend. Tries to push it out to the left side. Nearly gets back to the original line of scrimmage. We'll see if Central Michigan goes for a field goal or if they're going to punt it away.
And that was once again Dyer Kelly on the stop. Has had a bit of a solid day on the defensive line for the Falcons. Of course, the scoreboard may not reflect that, but Dyer Kelly, whether it's solo or assisted, he's been all over the place at that nose tackle position.
CMU will punt it away. It would have been a 54-yard field goal attempt. Long on the season by Cade Graham was matched today at 47 yards. Dooley punts it away, nearly blocked. Got it away, though. Takes a Bowling Green bounce. And it's going to be marked down at the, they're going to say, 15-yard line of the Falcons. That's where Bowling Green's offense will operate. 12:03 to play. Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces more feature stories about BGSU athletics than any other media outlet. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com and follow Falcon Media Sports Network at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date with all of our content.
Millions of people all over the world go hungry, while we waste our land and water resources. Did you know that raising animals for human consumption uses 8 times as much water as growing fruits, vegetables, and grains? And that the same amount of land can produce 17 times more soybean protein than meat protein? For great vegetarian recipes, write People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's PETA, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510. Thanks.
If you're a veteran looking to file for your service-connected benefits through the Department of Veterans Affairs, don't go it alone. AMVET's highly trained service officers stand ready to walk you through the process at VA regional offices around the country, helping you to navigate the complex VA system free of charge. With new presumptions for Agent Orange exposure and other conditions, AMVETS can offer you the advice you need to finally receive all of your earned benefits. In 2009 alone, AMVETS helped process more than 65,000 claims and appeals, securing more than $410 million in benefits. To find your nearest AMVET service officer or to learn more, visit amvets.org.
BGSU Women's Golf heads out west to battle the Kansas State Wildcats in the Power Cat Invitational on a Monday and Tuesday series from October 20th to October 21st. This will be the final invitational for the Falcons this season. Check out the recap by Falcon Media Sports Network, Golf Beat, Aiden Brewick, and all other BGSU athletic content on bgfalconmedia.com.
Tyler Kamelitz alongside Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. 12:03 to play in the fourth and final quarter here in Northwest Ohio from Dwight L. Perry Stadium. 27-6, Central Michigan leads Bowling Green. Both these teams 3-3 overall in the season, 1-1 in the Mid-American Conference, trying to stay alive in this hunt for a MAC championship appearance as we begin the second half of the college football season. Bowling Green looking for a big comeback. Lucian Anderson the third drops back, throws up the middle. That is complete to, I believe that's R.J. Garcia the second. It is. He bursts out up to the 44-yard line. A big gain for R.J. Garcia.
So far, the
wide open up the middle of the field.
So far, the biggest reception of the day for the Falcons, as there is a Chippewas player down right now.
Looks like he's down just in front of where R.J. Garcia II was tackled.
Yet to see who that is.
We were talking about this off the air. This place was probably about 20,000 people in it at kickoff. Right now, if I had to guess, there's maybe 8,000, 10,000 people in the stadium. It has really emptied very quick. That student section is very dispersed.
I believe that may be Elijah Gordon down on the field. Defensive back for Central Michigan, 6 foot, 285 pounds, a senior out of Midland, Michigan.
As he's still down, we're going to step away for a quick break. 27-6, Central Michigan over Bowling Green. 11:46 to play on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Elijah Gordon was the injured player. Senior free safety from Midland, Michigan. Played the past 4 years at Saginaw Valley State and was a first-team All-GLIAC selection last season. Bowling Green a 1st and 10 on their own 44. 11:45 to go. 27-6, CMU's lead. Lucian drops back, still looking, throws up the middle. Really overshoots his intended wide receiver, which was Allen Middleton.
Great job by the Chippewas defense on that coverage as well. While Anderson had plenty of time to throw, he just could not find anybody to really get from point A to point B right there.
It has been a rough day for Lucian Anderson III. 11 for 18, 97 yards, 2 interceptions. 6 carries for 26 yards as well. Lucian now delivers a flat pass to the right side. I believe that was to Kadarius Roberts. He was hit hard immediately. Lucian kind of led him into the tackle. That throw a little too far upfield, it appeared. He held on for the catch. A gain of 1, 3rd and 9.
And that was strong safety Caleb Spann on the stop as well. Mentioned his name a few times today. One of the bigger strong safeties on this Central Michigan defense.
Punt returner for CMU as well. 3rd and 9 for Bowling Green. Lucian drops back, looking up the middle. It is complete to Middleton. Looks like he's a yard shy of the first down with forward progress. They will say he reached Central Michigan's 47-yard line. A yard short of the first down, 4th and 1, and Bowling Green has no option but to go for it. Their last 4th and 1, they were stopped short. It was a handoff in a pistol formation to Markel Porter.
They also had that John Henderson sneak earlier in the game.
We are going to try a quarterback sneak here. Does Bowling Green Lucian Anderson III diving forward. No signal yet. Still waiting for an official signal. We might have a measurement upcoming. I believe we're going to have the chain gang come out and measure this ball. The referee is calling for the chain gang. So, let's see. Off initial looks, it's a close one.
They often say football is a game of inches, Tyler, and this is exactly what they mean by it.
Needs the 46-yard line. Tip of the ball looks like it may be there. Bowling Green is short. It is Central Michigan ball. The Falcons a few inches short on 4th and 1. They turn it over for the 4th time today. 2 interceptions, 2 turnovers on downs. Central Michigan ball on their own 47-yard line. 10:38 to play. Central Michigan leads by 21, 27-6.
Yeah, just more missed opportunities from this Falcons squad. I mean, if you want to go completely on 4th down conversions, 0 for 3 on the day. As we mentioned earlier, the John Henderson fake punt, 2 yards short.
Yeah, I forgot that five turnovers and downs. I forgot about the 2. I forgot about the John Henderson. So 3 turnovers on downs and 2 interceptions. 5 turnovers on the day for Bowling Green. So as much as we do want to talk about the undisciplinedness of Bowling Green, if that's even a word, 11 penalties for 92 yards. 5 turnovers doesn't help either.
Definitely not. And going back to the penalties, if the amount of penalty yardage you have during the afternoon almost covers the length of an entire football field, then something is definitely wrong. There's definitely a lot of undiscipline there. We keep mentioning self-inflicted errors, but that's just been the entire theme of this game, and we have seen really no sign of that stopping whatsoever. And you can only imagine the frustration that it has been having boiling over on the sideline with Eddie George and the rest of the coaching staff.
So we're going to take a quick break here. Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6, 10:38 to play from the Doit here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Cameron Petaway is this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week. The redshirt freshman had 2 receptions for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns against Toledo in the Battle of I-75. Petaway leads the country with 35.1 yards per kick return. He is number 1 all-time at BGSU since 1995 with 721 all-purpose yards through the first games of his career. Against Toledo, he recorded a 73-yard receiving touchdown to tie the game up 21-21. Head coach Eddie George said Cam has come on big time for us. You could see his explosiveness and what he brings to the table. This has been this week's Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Central Michigan has the ball back on their own 47. They lead Bowling Green by 21. 27-6 here in this 4th quarter, 10:38 to play. It's going to be a keeper for Central Michigan. Have a look to see which quarterback that is. I believe that is Angel Flores into the game. So he runs a keeper for a few yards. They're going to mark it just past the 50-yard line. Give it a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Flores and Labus have gone back and forth. Labus has 4 pass attempts, Flores just 1, but Flores with 15 rushing attempts to Labus's 5. Central Michigan mixes and matches their quarterbacks. Flores remains in the game, 3 wideouts to the right, running back to the right, looks to go up the right. Now cuts back to the middle of the field. Wasn't really going anywhere the whole time. Just trying to find space and trying to find a pocket to run. A gain of just a couple.
Did a solid job of trying to stay up there for a little bit, despite the fact that he had nothing but orange and brown in front of him.
Gain of 3, third and 3. 9.5 minutes to play. 27-6, Central Michigan. Flores remains in the game. 2 wideouts to the left. Nari Biggins to his right in the pocket. Or apologies, in the backfield, I should say. Flores going to keep it, moving up the middle. Going to be close.
Ref on the far side has him right on it as well.
They're going to move the chains, mark it a first down. And Central Michigan can keep draining this clock as they go on. This one
has been a game, Tyler.
Yes.
It has definitely been a game if you're looking at it from the Bowling Green perspective. Just
not over yet, but it's very close for the Falcons.
Absolutely.
Under center here. This is Labus. Hands it off up the middle to Biggins. 40. Biggins trying to cut to the left to the 35-30. He is pushed out of bounds there. A nice run by Nari Biggins down the left side of the field.
So far, Biggins 7 attempts for 31 yards so far on the day. We've kind of seen the Russian
That's
attack
before that run as well. So once they add that up, those numbers are going to increase. We'll see what the official gain is. It's a 12-yard gain. So Biggins now 8 rushes for 41 yards, 5.1 yards attempt, matching his season average.
Jumps ahead of both Townsend and Labus as the second leading rusher today for Central Michigan.
Labus under center. Hands it off to Biggins up the middle. Biggins will gain 2 yards to the 29-yard line. It will be 2nd and 8 for Central Michigan.
Bam Booker and Gideon Lampron.
Bam Booker and Gideon Lampron in on the tackle. Lampron really haven't had an opportunity to say his name that much after a COMAC Defensive Player of the Week showing last week. He does have 12 total tackles and a tackle for loss assist, but has not really made a big impact play. Flores going to keep it, moving up the right side. Lampron's there to make the tackle that time. No gain on the play.
What a coincidence, Tyler, just braiding them up just now. He matches his total tackles as he had last week against Toledo, 13 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss.
Only difference is he's 3 tackles for loss shy of what he did last week.
That is true.
The difference in the impact plays, but he's still been a clog in the middle of the defense for Bowling Green. The way he's positioned right now, he's going to have a say. His name will probably be tossed in the hat for MAC Defensive Player of the Year in the early predictions. Central Michigan will take their first charge timeout. We're going to stick here. 27-6, CMU's lead over BG. 6:21 to play. Bowling Green needs a Northwest Ohio miracle at this point.
That's definitely a way of putting it, Tyler. When this game is all said and done, Bowling Green is definitely going to look at what could have been. You had that big win last week, a big comeback, in your program's history, and then you lay flat against a disciplined Central Michigan team, which obviously they've had some penalties of their own, but nothing compared to the unnecessary, unsportsmanlike conduct, just doing things that are just so self-inflicted and kills any chance of momentum that you have, and it makes you wonder what if afterwards, and that's what really kills the momentum that Bowling Green had last week coming into the day.
Labus hands it off to Biggins up the middle. He is hit early by Kyle Pascal, and Biggins going to be stopped for no gain. Kyle Pascal shooting like a rocket
On the play.
to be able to bring him down. It'll be 4th and 8.
And that makes Pascal his only solo tackle of the day, but he also has 5 assisted, so 6 total tackles overall for the Falcons.
47-yard attempt from here, but Central Michigan's up by 21, under 6 to play. They're going to say, why not? Let's go for it. Labus in the backfield. Biggins to the right of him. 2 on the play clock. 1. They're going to take a delay game. Try to get the Falcons to jump off sides. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. Push it back to a 52-yard field goal attempt. So you'd have to imagine that they will punt here. Cade Graham's season long is 47 yards.
Tied that earlier today to get the Chippewas to total 27 overall points.
What a story for Cade Graham, the kicker for Central Michigan. Walked on to the team as the place kicker after attending the university for 3 years. He did not play high school football. Instead was a midfielder in soccer and the team captain in wrestling. Both his parents went to Central Michigan. His mom played field hockey there, and he has gone 11 for 13 on field goal attempts this year after walking onto the team for a position that he had never played in his career. Incredible story there at Central Michigan with their kicker. That punt is downed at the 3-yard line of Bowling Greens. They will operate with their backs up against the red zone and their backs up against the wall in the game. 5:17 to play. Before we go there is holding on Bowling Green on the play, so half the distance to the goal. The ball will be moved to the 1.5-yard line. So Bowling Green really with their backs up against the wall. 5:17 to play. Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Hey, what's the show? It's the Blues Breakfast. It's probably good for you. Did you try it? I'm not gonna try it. You try it. I'm not gonna try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't listen. He hates everything.
Right down, right off of your feet.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey. Be like Mikey. Catch the Blues Breakfast every Saturday morning from 10 to 2 on 88.1, Ohio's premier blues radio show.
I love to see you strut.
For all BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN and head over to BGFalconMedia.com. This is a Falcon Media Sports Network studio update.
I'm Nate here in the Falcon Media studio with your Around the MAC update. Right now, Eastern Michigan currently losing to Miami at Miami. Miami up 37-14 in the fourth quarter with 9:48 left. Toledo and Kent State currently tied 10-10. That's in the second quarter with 11:35 left. And just kicking off about a half hour ago, we got Buffalo up on UMass with 3:55 left in the first quarter. That's look at what's going on around the MAC. You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU FM in Bowling Green. And right now, let's hand things back on out to Tyler and Carter at the Doyd. How's it going out there?
Thanks, Nate, for the update on those scores around the MAC. We had mentioned the Toledo score. Rockets back in that game. That's a Kent State team that Bowling Green has a next up on their schedule, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that one and see how that ends. Back here at the Doyd, 5:17 to play, 27-6, Central Michigan over Bowling Green. Tyler Kavlitz alongside Carter Leonard from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Carter, Central Michigan has pushed Bowling Green. Their backs up against the wall once again on the 1.5-yard line. They'll have to go 98.5 yards to find pay dirt, which they have not done so far this game. 2 Jackson Cleater field goals, the only scores for the Falcons. This pass by Lucian Anderson III, complete to R.J. Garcia II, down the right sideline. They're going to mark that at the 14-yard line. A nice connection to move the Falcons out of the end zone.
And that on to the saying, Tyler, having their backs up against the wall. That's been the majority of the theme all day, from the very first interception to now.
Lucian drops back, almost hit as he throws, finds Finn Hogan over the middle. Hogan at the 45, still pushing. He dives down to the 49-yard line. A big connection to Finn Hogan in the middle of the field.
First time we've really seen Finn Hogan all day, as a matter of fact, for the Falcon offense.
And it's going to be a penalty on Bowling Green. I believe it was holding. Did not hear a number. Yet another penalty erases the big play for Bowling Green. Unfortunate. Undisciplined. This team has been very undisciplined today. That is now 13 penalties. Actually, they haven't even updated that. They have, yes. So Finn Hogan, it was a 34-yard reception. The penalty is on Tunde Fadakasi for holding. So 13 penalties for 101 yards. Lucian going to keep it, moving up the right side middle, 10 to 15, dives down at the 18-yard line. And we have a flag in again. 2 flags thrown by the officials after the play.
Flag on the play.
Almost feels like a requirement at this point. We have seen it all game long. As it stands right now, 4:19 remaining on the clock, 27-6, Central Michigan. It's another penalty on Bowling Green, and if I heard the number correctly, it's another penalty on Tunde Fadakasi.
When is it enough? Like, Tyler, when is it going to really get through to everybody on the sideline to not make these errors? And
it was an 11-yard rush, unsportsmanlike conduct on Tunde Fadakasi.
I believe that may have been the 5th one overall with this Falcons squad. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler.
I believe you are correct. Boy, oh boy. Lucian steps up in the pocket, moves to the right, now scrambles 10-15, goes out of bounds around the 20-yard line.
Anderson with the scramble out of bounds.
14 penalties for 104 yards. That's just not going to be acceptable for Eddie George's unit. We'll see what he has to say post-game. You can watch that full press conference on the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel and bgfalconmedia.com. It will be attached to the recap of the game. Make sure to check that out afterwards to see what head coach Eddie George has to say about the game today. Anderson throws up the middle. That is complete. It was completed to R.J. Garcia II up to the 39-yard line. Under 3.5 minutes to play. 27-6, Central Michigan. Bowling Green trying to push and find a score one more time. At least make the score respectable. Quick out throw by Lucian.
Pass complete to number 88,
He finds Jacob Harris for the first time today. Harris, a touchdown reception against Toledo last week. First time we've called his name for a catch today. Bowling Green continues to try to go fast, approaching 3 minutes to play in the contest. Lucian takes the snap, drops back, looks to his right, stepping up. Ball comes out as he's hit. Ball still on the ground, picked up by Bowling Green. James Thomas Jr. just saw it sitting there, decided to pick it up.
Yeah, it looked like everybody was just standing around there for a second, and there was never a whistle blown, so that's a live ball. Anybody's able to jump on it. Just no sense of urgency whatsoever from this offensive squad.
Third and 7 on their own 41. Lucian drops back, looking to his left, completes it. That was completed to Jacob Harris. He lowers his shoulder, tries to gain a few yards. It will be 4th and 1 for Bowling Green on their own 48-yard line.
And that is Harris's first reception of the day as well. Second.
We have reached the 2-minute timeout. Central Michigan 27, Bowling Green 6. 2 minutes to play. When we come back, Bowling Green will have a 4th and 2 from their own 48. They've turned the ball over 5 times today. You're listening to BGSU football on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Looking for a BG Athletics discussion show? Check out The Swoop, where a rotating cast of Falcon Media Sports Network co-hosts talk everything BGSU Athletics. New episodes are available every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel.
WBGU 88.1 FM is Northwest Ohio's community radio station. As a non-commercial radio station, our programming efforts are supported by underwriting sponsorships from local businesses. Underwriting is an effective method of gaining exposure for your business in Northwest Ohio and helps us continue producing local content. For more information regarding underwriting sponsorship at WBGU, visit bgfalconmedia.com.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
BGSU women's soccer is traveling to Buffalo, New York to face the Buffalo University Bulls on Thursday, October 23rd at the UB Stadium. The last time these two teams met resulted in a 1-1 tie at BG's Cochran Stadium last season. Check bgfalconmedia.com after the match to read the recap of Falcon Media Sports Network's Henry Costco and additional content.
14 penalties for 110 yards for Bowling Green today. That has been the story of the game. 4th and 2 for the Falcons. They're down 27-6 against Central Michigan. 2 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, at this point, Tyler, you're just looking for anything to make this a respectful loss, like you mentioned before the break. Obviously, just a mistake-prone day from the Falcons. You're just trying to gain anything to walk out of here and prepare for Kent State on the road next week.
Bowling Green has turned the ball over 5 times so far. Lucian going to hand it off up the middle. Pettaway will get the first down. He'll take it to Central Michigan's 45-yard line.
Chris Edmonds stopped on the play by number 29, Andre Thompson.
And apologies.
That is good for a Falcon. First down.
That was Chris Edmonds announced with the carry.
5'10", 200-pound sophomore running back from Toledo, Ohio.
And I believe that is Chris Edmonds' first carry of the season. Lucian Anderson finds R.J. Garcia, the second downfield. Big completion down to the 19-yard line of Central Michigan. The Falcons officially in the red zone.
Flag on the play.
But there is a flag on the play, and the Bowling Green offense is coming back towards midfield. Face mask on Alex Harris, the left tackle. Just another self-inflicted mistake, and you go from Central Michigan's 19-yard line to your own 40. From Central Michigan's 19 to your own 40. You heard me correct.
What else hasn't been said that's already been said, Tyler?
15 penalties for 125 yards. Wow.
Inexcusable.
Lucian Anderson III drops back, looks to his right. R.J. Garcia II never saw the ball coming.
Anderson's pass intended for Garcia.
That play about sums up Bowling Green's offense today.
Wasn't a bad route from Garcia by any means necessary, but just way behind him, not able to have enough time to really turn around and spot the ball.
Lucian today, 17 for 25, 153 yards, 2 interceptions. He's been sacked 3 times. Anderson drops back. Pressure comes from the right side. Steps up. Now decides to run. 40, 45. Up to the midfield logo at 50. He's going to be taken down at the Central Michigan 49-yard line. And the clock continues to wind down. We have reached a minute remaining. Don't really foresee Eddie George taking timeouts at this point. He has all 3 remaining. I think he may just let this clock run down by 21, 27-6.
Obviously, as you mentioned before, the bleachers almost nearly empty on the student section side. Just not the day for the Falcons we're hoping for.
Lucian hands it off to Chris Edmonds once again. Apologies, I believe. That was Payshawn Wimberly. So Payshawn Wimberly, welcome back. His first carry this season. He suffered a season-ending injury in spring football last year when he was a team captain. He has participated in Bowling Green's past 3 games. That is his first carry of the year, and it looks like it will be the final play of the game as the clock will continue to run down, and it will run out. Bowling Green suffers a 21-point loss at home a week after shocking the Mid-American Conference with a 21-point comeback. They fall to Central Michigan 27-6 and fall to 3-4 overall, 1-2 in conference play. Central Michigan moves to 4-3 overall, 2-1 in conference play.
Yeah, a game that, Bowling Green is definitely going to want back, but at the end of the day, the clock hits 0, and there's nothing you can really much do about it now, but just a terrible day all around for this Falcon squad. In Central Michigan, being the disciplined team that we've talked about numerous times, we're able to take advantage, and that's what got us the result that we currently have at Dwight L. Perry Stadium.
Would once again like to thank the Blues Breakfast for giving us the opportunity to air this game on WBGU 88.1 FM, to be live with you all. Want to thank specifically Don, Kenny, and Deb with the Blues Breakfast. Again, their show airs 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on this station, WBGU 88.1 FM. So make sure to tune into that show in the future. It is a great show. I can firsthand say that. So make sure to tune into them. They were gracious enough to give us this time, specifically Kenny, who was hosting this week. But any final thoughts before we send it back, Carter? 27-6 loss.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of, I wouldn't say soul-searching, but there's definitely going to be a tough week of practice for this Falcons squad. But this is definitely one that you didn't want to see happen. Coming off a big win last week against your bitter rival, and this sort of thing happens, they are going to have to really hit the ground running now as the second half of the season continues to press on, not just for them, but around the conference in general, as teams continue to stack up wins and Bowling Green continues to try to find more opportunities to reevaluate themselves.
A week removed from their Battle of I-75 victory over Toledo, Bowling Green's party comes to an end. They lose to Central Michigan 27-6 here at Dwight L. Perry Stadium. For Carter Leonard, this is Tyler Kavlich. We're going to send it back to the studio. Nate Hinners, Adam Delphin, and Gavin Gill will take it from here with the Falcon Media Sports Network football post-game show.
Don't miss the morning show on WBGU FM every weekday from 6 to 9 a.m. Join the morning show team weekday mornings to hear about local news, local weather report, Glott's Garden Report, Coach's Show with the coaches from BGSU and BGHS, and live newsmaker interviews. Listen live every weekday from 6 to 9 a.m. locally on 88.1 FM or streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media takes pictures from nearly all BGSU and Bowling Green related events throughout the year. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to check out thousands of photos and all the content.
All right, welcome into the Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show. I am Nate Hinners here in the WBGU 88.1 FM studio at the Killeen Center, joined by Adam Duffin and Gavin Gill. And to say today was not the day for the Falcons might be an understatement. The Central Michigan Chippewas defeating the Falcons 27-6 today. And guys, just going over the game, just give us a quick recap of, not a great day for the Falcons.
So Central Michigan was up 17-6 at halftime. In the second half, Angel Flores continued his great day. He had a 4-yard rushing TD to put them up 24-6. He had 3 rushing touchdowns on the day, and then they ended it with a 47-yard field goal to make it 27-6 as the final. Second half, not too much going on for Central Michigan. They were playing it conservative, and Lucian Anderson also had another interception in that second half to make it that 27-6 final.
All right, coming up, we'll have our roundtable on today's game. Right now, let's take a quick break. You are listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
Many Americans have missed regular dental care in the past few years. It's important to see a dentist twice a year to identify any problems early. Taking care of your oral health helps overall health. Brushing at least twice a day with fluoride toothpaste and flossing daily can help prevent oral health problems. For more information, visit hrsa.gov/oral-health.
BG Authors is a campus organization dedicated to highlighting authors connected to the university. BGSU has produced some amazing authors, including Beth Macy, James Baldwin, and Tim Conway, to name a few. Visit bgauthors.com and subscribe to the blog that regularly updates on new releases, classics, non-BGSU authors, and other features such as book versus movie. That's BG Authors at bgauthors.com.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network's post-game show. Probably not a great day for Falcons and our Falcon fans listening now. Again, the Falcons losing to the Central Michigan Chippewas 27-6. And Gavin and Adam, what were your kind of takeaways from today's game?
The penalties on
Very
Bowling Green.
undisciplined.
Yeah, it's just undisciplined, ridiculous. One player, AJ Odom, he had a personal foul, an unsportsmanlike conduct, and an offsides. He had 35 penalty yards on his own. And same thing with Tunde Fadakasi, the left tackle. He also had a personal foul, holding call, I think the second holding call. You can't have two players get 3 penalties each.
It's not just up to those two players too. I mean, they had 125 yards in penalty yards, 15 penalties in one game. They currently lead the MAC in penalty yards now, just from this game alone. Very undisciplined, disappointing loss.
And then as well, you saw that matchup as well. Central Michigan also had their fair share of penalties on the day. I think they had 10. And
10 for 74 yards.
Yeah, so when two teams almost combined for over 200 yards of penalties, that's the most in the MAC this year between a MAC matchup. So it's really just very bad. You have an assistant coach get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, that just kills a team's chances automatically.
I mean, after the sideline warning, you're like, okay, maybe they're getting a little bit too into it. But I can't remember the last time I've seen an actual assistant coach get an unsportsmanlike conduct. So
it just also confuses, like Tyler and Carter on the call. They're confused on what's going on half the time with the sideline, because it's like, why is a coach getting a penalty? It's silly.
And stopping the game nonstop. I mean, it felt like the fourth quarter. It was every 2 plays there was another flag on the field, another flag. I mean, they had a 34-yard reception from Garcia, called back from a holding call. Like every single time you get a big advantage, it just gets taken right back. It was like I said earlier, very undisciplined.
And I don't think it was entirely a bad game by Lucian Anderson. Part of it is, a couple tipped passes that lead to interceptions, but then when your offensive lineman gets a holding call after you make a good pass, it kind of just resets everything. That you have it a couple times where you're in 3rd and 20, you just have no shot as a team. I don't care if you put the best quarterback on earth out there, 3rd and 20, you're not converting that ever, really. So,
and even
Angel Flores, it looks like on paper he had a great game, but if you look at where he had the ball, and 2 out of his 3 touchdowns, it was within the 6-yard line. So just putting them in range to score immediately, and then they go up. Those 2 score. I mean, it's a different game. I mean, like we said, tip balls not all on Anderson. It's just unfortunate and disappointing.
And it's also just insane. Central Michigan threw the ball 5 times the whole day, and they won by 3 scores. That is something you never see in today's game. That's something you never see even 50 years ago, maybe. They still were throwing the ball more than 5 times most of the games. They played the game how they wanted to, and Bowling Green actually had more total yards. And they still lost by 3 scores because Central Michigan converted when they could, and also Central Michigan, they didn't even need to get yards because the penalty yards were handed to them. So really just bad performance all around.
Also, 0-3 on 4th down conversions, 5 turnovers in total. Just were not able to finish a drive, and I think we got to the red zone like once or twice in the entire game. Just relying on Cleather, it can't win us games.
Yeah, I don't even know if they got to the red zone, really. Maybe they did, and then a penalty moved them back.
Probably brought them back.
Because both the field goals were over 40 yards, so he wasn't even within the red zone on those kicks. So
and that was in the first half, too. We didn't even see, a glimpse of scoring in the second half.
And 5 of 15 on 3rd down, another thing that you just can't have happen. You got to continue to extend drives, help out your defense, and really, maybe the only thing is the return game was pretty good for Bowling Green. They did a solid job on kickoffs, but besides that, really not any aspect of the game that they did well.
Yeah, right after Eddie George came out and said last year, yes, I'm very proud of this team, and they were very disciplined. An amazing, being able to beat Toledo down 21-0, and us coming out in that second half, absolutely shutting down that offense, very disciplined. But then we come out we just laid an egg. It's one of those bury the ball kind of games, in my opinion.
And I got to think Eddie George, he's going to have to look at changes with certain guys in position groups making these penalties, costing the team. And I don't know, it's tough to evaluate Lucian Anderson. We'll see with Drew Pine when he comes back. But then it becomes another issue. Are you going to switch your quarterback again when this team, it feels like, doesn't have an identity after 7 games into the season?
Yeah, the not having an identity thing is a real big problem.
Yeah, all right. Coming up as we continue on here in our Falcon Media Sports Network postgame show, we got our Falcon Media Sports Network player of the game. We'll also check out what's going on around the MAC, around college football in general, plus what else you can expect from the Falcon Athletics and the Falcon Media Sports Network this weekend. Keep it here. You're listening to Falcon Media Sports Network postgame coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On September 17, 2025, BGSU volleyball swept the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, marking head coach Alex Del Piombo's first home win, leading the Falcons. Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak had the call of the moment at the Stroh Center.
Anders to Otten, Otten to Hobson. Hobson throws it down! A 3-set sweep for Bowling Green and the 2025 home opener, and the first home win for head coach Alex Del Piombo.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Welcome back to Falcon Media Sports Network post-game coverage. So, Adam and Gavin, who are your guys' Falcon Media Sports Network's player of the game?
I think you got to go with Gideon Lampron. Some offensive players had some yards that didn't really matter as much in the second half. Lampron on the day, 13 total tackles, 8 of them being solo. Also helped on a tackle for loss in the backfield on a run play. He seemed like by far the best defender for Bowling Green today. He was all over the place.
Yeah, and going into the game, he was 3rd in the MAC for tackles, for total tackles. you would assume that after today's games, he's still going to be in that top 3, possibly drop down to that top 5. I don't see him going outside of that. But Lampron is definitely probably the player of the game as a whole. He after moving from outside linebacker to inside linebacker, he's kind of stepped up into that role. Last week, he was toting around the battle of I-75 downtown. Like, he had an amazing game last week, amazing second half last week. And, I mean, he led the team today in total tackles, so I would have to agree with Gideon Lampron.
Yeah, no one else had even more than 6 tackles today, so doubled the next guy. So just by far best defensive player. And the offense, when you score 6 points, you don't get to be a player of the game.
And did he have any penalties today?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe
it's tough to keep track when there's 15 penalties.
When there's 15 penalties, but like a lot of them came on the defensive side. I think he was one of the few players that did not get a penalty today.
All right, thanks. All right, taking a look at what's going on around the MAC. Still in action right now. We got Eastern Michigan over at Miami, and Miami they have a big lead too. Miami up 44-22. Up north of us in Toledo, we have Toledo taking on Kent State, and that game tied right now 10-10 in the second quarter with 1 minute left in that second quarter. Meanwhile, going on over at UMass, they are up on Buffalo 7-3. That game also in the second quarter with 9:44 left in the second. Going on in just about 5 minutes or so, Akron's taking on Ball State. That's coming up at 3:30. Also coming up here at 3:30, got Northern Illinois taking on Ohio University. So that's look at what's going on around the MAC. That Miami Eastern Michigan game starting to wrap up, and that game also not very close either. Though Toledo and Kent State 10-10, that'll be an interesting game to keep track of too. Checking what else is going on for Week 8 of college football. We have Georgia Tech right now up on Duke 21-10. That game in the fourth quarter with 1:43 left. Oklahoma up on South Carolina with 1:21 left in the third quarter. Coming up at 3:30, there's Michigan State taking on Indiana. Also at 3:30, Ole Miss taking on Georgia. They're ranked. Ole Miss is ranked 5th, while Georgia is ranked 9th. Meanwhile, coming up here for a big game for Ohio fans here in Ohio, got Ohio State taking on Wisconsin. That game also coming up at 3:30. So, last weekend we had Ohio State and the Bowling Green Falcons at the same time. So, probably had some conflicted fans. Today, though, if you're a Falcon and a Buckeyes fan, you got a pretty smooth sailing from well, you got the Falcons lost, but we'll see how Ohio State does this afternoon. Speaking of Falcon athletics, though, besides just football, got women's swimming going on now. That's over here in Bowling Green. We'll have a recap of that on bgfalconmedia.com. Also going on tonight, some men's soccer. They're over in Iowa at Drake. That's going on tonight at 8:30 Eastern Time. And we'll have a recap of that and a preview up right now over on bgfalconmedia.com. But yeah, we'll have that recap coming up later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Speaking of tomorrow, some women's soccer here in Bowling Green tomorrow. That's going on at 1 o'clock, taking on Ball State. And we'll have a call for that over on the WBGU PBS YouTube channel. Lucas Kleinmeyer and Holden Ruck on the call for that. And also women's golf in action on Monday and Tuesday this week. They're over at Kansas State University. So we'll have a recap of that on bgfalconmedia.com as well. Your next, though, broadcast comes your way here on the radio, at least, on Thursday, as men's basketball back in action, taking on Michigan State. That's coming up Thursday night over probably on Falcon Radio. We'll see, though.
We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens with that. But yeah, before we get to talking about that, your guys' final thoughts on today's game.
I think we got to clean up the penalties. Obviously, I think that's a big thing that we'll have, that Eddie George will hammer home this week. It's gonna be a rough practice, I feel like. I mean, BG has Akron coming up next.
Kent State
coming up next. I'm not gonna say an easy win because this was supposed to be a better game for BG, I feel. And Kent's currently tied with Toledo right now, which going into the season. Toledo.
And UMass is currently beating Buffalo right now deep into the second quarter.
That is a big deal. Buffalo being second in the MAC right now.
Yeah, so there's a lot of crazy action, and Kent State, they got to come out, and Bowling Green's got to figure out their identity really quick if they want to do anything this season.
And also we got to figure out if Drew Pine is going to play, if Anderson's going to play. If Anderson does play, can we change the offense a little bit to get Anderson stretching the field a little bit more? Maybe attacking the edges a little bit more, like I was saying earlier.
Or maybe they could do something like some of the teams they faced. Use both quarterbacks at once throughout the game, confuse those defenses. So we'll see what they do, but hopefully much better than today's performance.
And get Pettaway more involved. Pettaway was not as involved in this game as I wanted to see.
It would be hard to be worse than today. So, but yeah, we'll see what that is next weekend. Though coming up tomorrow here on WBGU 88.1 FM, more Falcon athletic coverage on the Zig Zone, our Falcon Media Sports Network talk show that's going on tomorrow from 4 to 6 here on WBGU 88.1 FM, and that's going to start to wrap things up for us for today after a pretty wild day. Here behind the scenes, in case you haven't heard, we had a little bit of flooding here at the Killeen Center, so the Falcon Media Sports, or the Falcon Radio Studio, currently covered in tarps, so we are here on WBGU. A big thank you to the Blues Breakfast for letting us take up some of their time so we could still get a call on the air today. It was a wild morning.
Very wild morning. Getting an email from your professor saying, hey, first show this morning that was supposed to go at 10 a.m. canceled. There's flooding in the building, and then everybody at Falcon Media Sports Network, we were all just like calling each other, texting each other, like how are we gonna put this together? How are we gonna do this? Very wild, and just happy to be on today.
Yeah, the show must go on, and it did today at least. All right, and also going on here on the BGSU campus this weekend, it's Falcon Family Weekend, and Adam, you got some family here with you in studio actually.
Yeah, gonna show them around campus more today. Probably get some food after that long game with all those extra penalties.
Good luck.
Yes, try to find some open food line around here.
Yeah. You wanna give them an introduction? Give them some airtime?
I'm here with my dad, Rick, and my stepmom, Tina. They're here at BG for the second time so far this school year. My dad graduated here back in the 80s. He just missed out on that 1985 football team that they. Carter and other Falcon Media Sports network members posted a long article about that 85 championship.
Very good article.
So they're here. We're gonna enjoy the weekend a little more after the loss, unfortunately, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we're seeing, if you just look outside here from the Killeen Center window, we can see someone looks like they're trying to get inside right now. But there are other people. Yeah, the door is locked. Okay. But there was other people, other families here on campus enjoying the nice weather we have today. Looks like the rain is holding off for a bit tonight, so definitely a great afternoon for families to enjoy. I don't know, I'm ready to get on out of here, go get some lunch for me at least. That's going to do it for our Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show and our Falcon Media Sports Network broadcast for today. Again, a big thank you to the Blues Breakfast for helping to get us on the air by giving up some of their time here on WBGU so we could have a broadcast today. They're great people to work with. Yep. And then big thank you to everyone here at the School of Media Communications and Falcon Media who helped us, clean up the building and just, be flexible so we could still have a broadcast today. And then thank you guys for joining me in studio. Great job with, helping me out here on the show. We'll talk to you guys again soon. You, though, are listening to WBGU 88.1 FM. Have a great Saturday.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to bgfalconmedia.com.